Brady Quinn, isn't Brady
Anyone makes $1
Quinn?
million.
Come on, didn't Brady Quinn marry one of the one of those famous U.S. gymnasts that won the gold medal? Like,
No.
he's doing okay.
Did he?
Brady Quinn, I think so. No, not like recent, but like I'm talking about
I don't know. I know Jonathan Owens
12
was
years
Simone
back.
Biles. I know that much.
No, yeah, this would have been like a few Olympics ago. But also, can we just for a quick second here, comparing the Baltimore Ravens, you can make hot takes all you want, but it is just incorrect or factually nonsensical to compare the Baltimore Ravens to the Maple Leafs. The Baltimore Ravens have won 2 Super Bowls in my adult life. The Toronto Maple Leafs have not won a Stanley Cup since before I was born.
Since Randy's left.
Randy hasn't even seen the Maple Leafs win a Stanley Cup.
And Randy's really old.
No, he's not. Yeah, Randy? That's cool.
Hey, Randy, how's it going, Randy?
I didn't say it. I didn't say it.
Lamar Jackson.
So,
do you have a mic?
you have a mic?
Yeah, that's it. I mean, like, think about it. Since Lamar Jackson done, they had the inability to win the Super Bowl, even though they have been the best team in the NFL for multiple years. And with the new Leafs regime, starting with Austin Matthews, we've only been out of the first round once.
Yeah, I know.
And that's it.
We've only won one round in 40 years.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. The modern days. Baltimore Ravens are the new Toronto Maple Leafs of the NFL. They can't get it done. And they have the best team.
They don't have the best team.
The Leafs or the Ravens?
The Ravens. And the other thing is the Leafs, you can't say and if you are saying that about the Ravens, you can't say the Leafs have the best team in the NHL. Like, I don't think you can make.
Like 4.
All I'm simply saying is, like, for anyone if you're in Toronto, if you're in Canada, we all know what the symbolism of the Toronto Maple Leafs is.
Win.
Which is, it's unfathomable because you've got to be able to consider, like, imagine you're an American. Like, try to imagine the New York Yankees have not won a championship in 60 or 50 to 60 years.
Okay,
like,
just imagine you're the New York Knicks.
yeah, well, it's kind of like the Knicks, but I think it's more extreme than the Knicks in a certain sense.
No, I think the Knicks have won in a long time. Very long time.
Yeah, but I don't know that the
Cowboys have won a lot of Super Bowls.
Yeah, I don't know that the Knicks are kind of compared to on that level of ascendancy in the league. They were never that dominant. Like, the Knicks were never a perennial championship team. Like, the Celtics, like if the Celtics had just not won forever.
I mean, the Leafs were winning cups when there was like 20 teams in the league.
But they have that historical aspect to it. Hey, what's up, Randy?
What's up, Randy?
Yeah, I don't know how we got on that one. Is solar done?
You think I'm worried about I'm trying to trade over here. I'm worried about the mic.
They're always worried about the mics.
How's it going, Randy?
What's up, Randy?
Oh, thank you, Randy. That's nice. Well, more on the shoulders. You know what I'm saying?
Ramin's gonna hate that. Randy did not talk EVs. He just walked away. You guys will win a Stanley Cup this year when you become the 51st state. Subban is the Canadian LeBron. We
ran into PK.
Yeah, actually, I forgot about that. Ran into PK at when we were at. Where the heck did we just go?
Why is he the Canadian LeBron? Because he's black?
That doesn't even make any sense.
What does that even mean?
Like, look,
LeBron James is the greatest of all time. I like PK. Subban.
No, I love PK. For the record, I actually. I'm going to tell a story about PK.
Sure he would equate himself to LeBron James.
PK Subban is not going to be watching this, so I can say this. Straight up, my brother and I, so my mom and my aunt, who's my godmother, are literally best friends. They worked with PK's mom when they first came to Canada from the West Indies. So I've known PK and his family since I was a kid. I used to babysit them, but like he was like little. But I remember, and to give you an idea about dedication, this is what Gio reminds me of. When he was a kid, he would be running around the house as like a toddler with his hockey helmet on.
Yeah, oh yeah.
They had the flooded rink in the back. Like, you knew with that family from a very young age.
We have the book. There's a book that I think his dad wrote.
Yeah, his pops wrote a book. He's a great dude. He's helped me out with a lot of stuff. When I tried out for a basketball team in high school and I was crap at basketball, the guy opened up his gym to run drills with me when he found out I was trying out for my high school basketball team, and I stunk at basketball all the time. Really, really good family. But,
I just want, here's David. He says he's checking out. This is too funny. He's trying to work. I mean, we'll get less funny. We'll get less. David, stay with us.
Chill, Winston.
Don't check out.
Analyze, strategize, capitalize.
All right. Yeah. No, I agree. I think Jordan is. I was just saying greatest of all time, as in LeBron versus PK. But I would think that both of us would agree Jordan.
Jordan is.
There's probably some Ohio people.
Who is
there in the chat?
You're a hockey guy. Well, I mean, you know more about hockey than I do. So like obviously back in the day, Wayne Gretzky, the great one, we can all agree is the greatest hockey player of all time. Michael Jordan. Like, who is the LeBron right now in hockey? Is it?
Oh, come on.
Is it Connor?
Yes.
Okay, because there's somebody I know who's like doesn't. They have like a.
Well, Sydney's been there for longer, but it's only one of the two. Who is he saying?
Well,
I mean, Connor McDavid's not as old as LeBron James. That's
no, because he doesn't have basically they say like Sydney has that stature and
he has
and so does Ovi. They've been around long enough to have ascended to that hype. I'm like, yeah, but right now Connor is like the best player in the league. Like, isn't that what you're talking about?
Connor McDavid is considered the most skilled hockey player of all time.
It's just what he can do is like
just the most skilled player of all time.
Yeah.
Even like ahead of Gretzky.
That guy does some stuff on the ice.
The guy does some stuff.
I'm like, what the hell? Like, people can even do that?
He does this and he does that, and it's all this stuff. Like, it's no, but when they...
I was gonna say ish, but I don't want to say
no,
ish.
No, but the reason, I mean, all kidding aside, like they had the skill competition there I think it was last year, and the winner won $1 million, and people were like, okay, this is just going to be, like Connor McDavid just going to win this.
Yeah.
He won it easily. Like he won, anyways.
He's like Kyrie handles with Vince Carter dunks when you put that into...
the most talented player in the NHL.
The guy's like a highlight machine.
Skating, the way this guy skates. Yeah. All right, look, Shreef's got to go to the gym. We better hurry this up, or we're gonna get like bench pressed over here pretty soon. Right now, the guy's like doing push-ups on the green screen over here. All right, let's go over to Shreef.
Welcome, everyone, to the Afternoon Rundown, the show where you decide what we talk about every afternoon. The big boys already engaged in a sick conversation, locked and loaded, and ready to look at the tickers as decided by you. So join Joe and I during the How to Trade show during the midday and get into the chat and vote for your favorite tickers every day. First, let's look at the four major indexes. The NQ leading all the four major averages today, about 1.5% in the green, followed by the ES about 0.75 of a percentage point last time I looked. The Dow up 1/5, and the Russell 2000 down about 2/3 of a percent today. The only major average that's actually negative on the day. Let's look at the first ticker, though, as decided by you guys, NVIDIA. Great day for NVIDIA, 4.5%, big move. You have a lot of these AI-related companies as well as microchips moving up after Donald Trump yesterday announced with Sam Altman, Masayoshi Son, and Larry Ellison in the White House that the $500 billion infrastructure plan, codenamed Project Stargate, already underway, guys, already building out that data center in Texas.
Yeah, I like those data centers.
Like, is it codenamed or is it that it's just called Stargate?
Yeah, I don't think anybody knows really anything about this other than sending these stocks to the moon, apparently.
I mean, I don't know, code name sort of means that you don't have like, an official name on it. So, I don't know, whatever. It ultimately doesn't matter. NVIDIA is how many days away are we from the all-time high? 2? Today is Wednesday, so Friday maybe, because 150 options and all that kind of good stuff. I feel like we're a day or two away from the next stock to get to its high. Oh, Amazon's not there.
Its high is only 153. Like, you could get there today.
Amazon got there, so all that's left is, obviously, Apple got there and then failed it. Tesla got there earlier and failed it. But so obviously those two. But then you have Google, which didn't get there, and you have Amazon, which did. So NVIDIA, I think, it's about as close of a lock. It's like the Bills winning on Sunday. Like, it's as close of a lock as you're going to get, that we should see that at least the 150 by the end of the week, and then certainly going into earnings on them, which I always want to double check before I say it out loud. They're always later on, so they are at the end of next month, so the 26th of next month in February. So we get them at the end of the cycle, which makes them a pretty decent lock to have made that break before you get there. As far as the trade goes today, sometimes you miss the dip. My focus this morning was on Oracle, which sucked. It was a fail, but it was like a double punk on Oracle, because on my note I had 143.5 on NVIDIA. That's a fail wick. That's not real. It came in right at the open. I double checked it. It came to 66. I was actually sitting at 62 in front of the 60 level, so I could get that dip price. I ended up missing it and then didn't get involved until it came back into VWAP. There on NVIDIA. But the rest, as they sort of say, is history with this stock. I mean, if you're betting against NVIDIA right now, like, you can't talk about billions and billions, and now you're talking about trillions. Eventually, they're going to go into more spending with AI without first talking about NVIDIA. So NVIDIA is a major beneficiary regardless. I think we're getting to that all-time high. It's just a matter of whether it's tomorrow, Friday, or Monday, one of these days. I think it's going to be a top-end break that, whether it's a fail break or not, I just think you're going to have it. Like, I'll have a 52-week high break on NVIDIA regardless of how it goes. It's just a breakout that's worth the take. Even the 150 break, I think, because that's not even the high, I think the 150 break will be good for a shot as well. This afternoon, I think looking for VWAP retracements would be the play on NVDA.
Look, Pinot number 2 across all shows today will be NVIDIA. And the thing about it is, it's not like it was anything that we didn't expect. I mean, right there, a nice little dip down into 144. We had wrote that down right here on the sticky note today. Dip buys into 144 on NVIDIA, 143.50, back to the 200 period SMA. So, I mean, it's like, there's the 200 period. It is the green mark right there. So we just sat there and took it. Like, it came right in. We have our plan. We talk about this all the time. We follow the plan. It went in, boom goes a dynamite. That's a 144 quarter long. There's a 147 outs. So almost $3 there to the top side. We hold that last, I think it was under 5%. You guys were all here with me trading this name. It got out when we broke VWAP back down through 146. So at the end of the day, we'll take a buck and change on the last little bit. We'll put NVIDIA in our pocket and smoke it one more time. And hopefully tomorrow as well, man. Watch out for 150 and then more all-time highs coming for NVDA. I mean, it's not like talking up our book or anything like that, when literally it's what we write down right here and it's what happens. So I really like this trade. We'll talk about ARM. Again, ARM is going to be the number 1 trade today, but Tesla, a very important stock as well in what's been a wild couple weeks for TSLA.
Down again today, Sean, after that big move down yesterday, down 1%, but well off the lows. I mean, there's a couple of headlines you could talk about here. The ending of the EV mandate vis-a-vis executive order by Donald Trump on his first day. That's said to be possibly bullish for Tesla and bearish for its competitors. Mixed opinions there. Separately, Wedbush chiming in today on Tesla, raising the price target to $550, maintaining that outperform rating. Should be mentioned, though, the bull case here, Danny Ives writes, is $650.
Which it would be a hefty premium from right about now, $650. Well, it's hard to get to $650 if you can't break $430. At least in the short term, that's what we're looking at here with Tesla. So it looked like this morning, it was diddling in the middle. And as you can see, I kind of marked off the 413 area for some support today, and kind of looking at that or the 406 at the bottom. Like, neither of those things happened on Tesla. You tried to maybe fill in a little bit of the gap. Monster fail at the open. It's an inside day on Tesla as much as you can consider like the $12 range an inside day on Tesla, but it's still underneath VWAP. Ultimately, does not hold on to the 420 yet. I think if we see that ramp job that we had in the afternoon yesterday off of VWAP here, first it has to reclaim it, maybe a bounce off 420. But right about, it's happened a few times, we talked about this, like around 3 o'clock, sometimes 3:30, you've seen these buyers emerge on Tesla and drive it to highs. So looking at that today, I think if it can regain VWAP, maybe do something, like these little dips where it consolidates off VWAP, that's what I would look for this afternoon on Tesla for like a long trade. Other than that, I think it's a relatively weak name. Kind of like obviously it's a little bit bearish. I'm actually bearish on the quantum names as well, which I'll be looking toward this afternoon for some fades. Rigetti, QBTS, but maybe not Tesla because I like those a bit better.
Okay, so this is going to sound a little silly, but I'm short Tesla right now. We just get short right now. I like it underneath VWAP on being a red day today for Tesla. We'll see if it wants to hold it or not. Let's just play it. Let's play this move up right there against the 50-period moving average and give it all the way up, and that's 421. We're not taking a whole bunch of shares here, but if we're lucky enough to get it back into 418, something like that, that wouldn't be too bad. Or we could just scalp it out to where we are right now. But yeah, Tesla, as I said, it's been a pretty exciting couple weeks here as we get more word about TikTok, we get more word about Elon. We get that EV sort of bad news there about losing the 7,500 and whatnot. whatnot for the EV credits. So yeah, man, I mean, again, if you're rocking with me, Neil, then put it back up one more time, because there it is, another 30 cents. And we'll take a piece out right there again, as hopefully this name will come back in, as we'll just scalp a little bit out here, you know, put some money in our pocket, short 60s, out teens twice. We just only got out of a third there. We're just playing around with this. I like the short idea there. You're underneath the 50 period. You just had to move back up. We have VWAP right here. So let's just see what winds up happening with it. It's Tesla right now. I like the short, and we're going to get out of here. You know, if this breaks up, that's 421.20, something like that. I mean, we won't really average in until we get into some of these highs right into there, 420.70, something like that. So we'll just get out of a third quickly for, like, what are we short at? We're short at 60s. So we'll just take a quick little 50-cent win there. As you can see, trading is, it's hard to find the winner. So we'll put a little bit in our pocket right now on a quick little trade there on Tesla.
Yeah, I got it.
Oracle next, guys. As I mentioned on the top, Oracle, one of the three major players that was at the White House yesterday, being represented by Larry Ellison. SoftBank's role in that $500 billion Stargate AI venture is seen as a major growth driver for Oracle, guys, say analysts, and it's having another great day today, 7.5% yesterday after double digits yesterday. And this was important to me. I don't know how you guys felt about this, but it definitely dropped back down and tested resistance yesterday, acting as support today, boys.
Yes, sir. Before we get into Oracle, I believe want to talk a little bit about Hive Digital Technologies, everybody. On the NASDAQ, that is HIVE, pioneering the digital transformation through sustainable AI solutions and Bitcoin mining. A global leader in cutting-edge data center operations with over 2,700 Bitcoin on their balance sheet. Hive consistently tops the industry in Bitcoin mined per exahash and is redefining the future by powering the world's most transformative technologies with efficient, green, and clean energy. Learn more by following them at Hive Digital Tech or at hivedigitaltech.com. And sign up for the Hive newsletter. Scan that QR code you see in front of you, or of course, check the link in the description, everybody. Oracle giveth, Oracle taketh away. Now in the long term, nobody's complaining about Oracle today. At least I would hope nobody's complaining about Oracle today in the long term. It did a March. It tried to get to the tried to get to prior 52-week highs, all-time highs. Oracle, you've gained the 50 period. Like, pretty much everything looked good on this story, except for it tried to pull into pre-market bottoms, failed it, and now is doing absolutely nothing on Oracle. So you got a bit of a gap fill. What Sharif was talking about was right in here. It did manage to dip. Ignore that, what gets crazy. 181 is your low. It dipped right into this prior high and prior resistance at 181, held that as support. So that's a pretty good sign. It was either going to be that or the 50-period moving average. It's done it, but it's done not much with it. It can't seem to get past that 186, which when I left you this morning, I said, well, I'm going to get bullish again on Oracle if it can hold above 146. Could it? Absolutely not. So I pretty much stayed away. I'm not trying to chase it up here. If we can hold bids above that price, that's where I'm continuing to look long on Oracle. I still think it's going to be great for the long term. This is the kind of catalyst that can certainly get it toward that all-time high once again. Great holding in the long term. But today, unfortunately, it just couldn't hold that bid.
We just covered some Tesla there for that dollar. It just came right back in. We actually got 65s. Nice move to the downside right now for Tesla. So we're now out of more than half of this trade on Tesla. Just trying to, it's starting to get going here a little bit. I'll bid something right there at 14 and see if it wants to come back in. But again, just sort of putting that icing on the cake here with our good friend, Tesla. It's been a good trade. We lost money on it yesterday. We'll make a little bit here today on that. All right, Oracle. Look, this is a name. It's thankfully that we've been loving tech for a very, very long time. There we go. We just get another fill. Okay, Tesla. Here goes Tesla, right back through 419 again. I didn't even realize that it dipped down this much, to be honest with you. We're long down here, like at 10 something. It was a really good move to the upside. I'm thinking about getting some out here in and around $1.95 or so for Oracle. So I think we might have missed that opportunity. I may just get out of it. I mean, it's a great move upside. I don't really want to dump any of the tech stocks, but to have all these random ones is fine. I'd rather be a little more concentrated, but Oracle on that nice move up there. Not too many details, I feel like, about all the involvement in all of this, but Oracle catching some waves today. Was up much more though earlier on, right? I mean, we started the day at that 193. It's been really kind of beat up since then, and now trying to hover around VWAP. So we'll see who wins or not right now with Oracle. But so far so good there. If you've been long, as Neil said in the old PA account, but we're here to trade like right now. And, this Tesla, we just got another piece out right there. I just want to let people know that I'm getting more and more out. Like, we only have a third left of this. Hopefully we can get into this 418, 417 and change. But we're putting on trades today. Amazon, ARM, NVIDIA, Roblox, the TQs, and Tesla. We're going to go 6 for 6 today, and it's been a pretty good day. So let's go over. We'll talk about Microsoft. I haven't traded it. We can hear more about that. And then we'll talk about the biggest banger easily with ARM, which is I'm more excited to talk about. Neil's got Microsoft, but let's go get Sharif and see what he's up to.
What a move up, Sean, for Microsoft of the day, at the day high, breaking over 4% right now. Widely speculated that it's benefiting from that $500 billion announcement yesterday from Stargate, as they're obviously involved in AI, whether through their own efforts through Mustafa Suleiman or through OpenAI, of which they have a joint venture. Morgan Stanley chiming in today as well on Microsoft, maintaining that overweight rating, guys, but dropping the price target to 540. Didn't matter for the stock, though, trading at highs.
No, I mean, upgrades, downgrades, price, target changes, all that good stuff. And Microsoft is just the latest name to get off the shine. I guess it just required this AI spending to come through, and obviously getting a little bit of a sympathy bounce for sure in a general sense. There's a bunch of there's a few minors that are moving around right now. I guess we'll get to that in a quick little second. But I have one trade in Microsoft, and it was actually a reversion trade because it was such a steady upward trend from the open that it really held the trend line all morning into the early afternoon, then sort of tagged the trend line, lost it. When it broke 44.45, I kind of tried to get short just underneath 445 and then left the order in to come in. It did give a buck and then pulled right back into break even. So I got some out for the first dollar of the move, but there was no follow through. That's a testament to how strong it is today. It did a trend reversion, and then essentially when the stock is up 12, 13 bucks from the open, it pulls back $1. And now you're right back at the highs on Microsoft. So it doesn't feel like it's the stock to look for any shorts in. I'm not going to try this again. You take the shot on the mean revert when it breaks the trend. It was the all day long trend. That starts at 9:33 in the morning. So if that trade doesn't work, usually requires a significant setup to go for it again there on stop day. I like the setup, and it wasn't a bad trade. It was just it's so strong. There's not a ton of follow through. Rather look at things like I said that are underneath VWAP. That's why eyeballs are on Rigetti. Currently, this one, trying to get back into VWAP. It's rejected several times. QBTS I like, but QBTS is way underneath VWAP at those lows. So I don't know if we'll trade that one this afternoon because this thing, it's on the quantum stocks. This one can't seem to get off the bid, whereas Rigetti's right there at a resistance level that I like.
All right, Tesla is pulling back in, but let's go over and talk to Sharif when you're ready about ARM Holdings, and then we'll discuss what was up with that move there today, ARM Holdings.
Yeah, Sean, not a big deal today on ARM, just 14 1/3%. It's off the highs. Great day for it, needless to say. Susquehanna maintaining neutral on ARM, but boosting that price target up to $140. Should be mentioned that they're likely one of the benefactors of the $500 billion project Stargate. Also should mention, guys, that 90% of this company, thereabouts, is still being held by SoftBank, only 10% available for public market trading.
All right, look, ARM, one of, just like Oracle, there was a lot of plays that you could have made here today. I haven't had ARM on the sticky note probably in months, and then it goes on there, and maybe now it will stay. this was an absolute, like, it came into 160. We had written down on the sticky note that we liked 160 there for ARM. And the reason why is when we wrote it, it was up here like 164, 165. And I was just like, look, if this is going to be good news, then we have to be higher than we were yesterday. Right? So that's the first thing. So we know that we're going to get above this 154, 155. And then I'm thinking to myself, like, if we drop down to this 157, that's like, there's something's wrong here with the story. So we wanted to get long in between 160 and 162. Wasn't sure where. We had some of these pre-market lows right there on some dark pools and in around 8 o'clock. So we sort of pecked that level. And then it just fell in. And honestly, there was about 5 minutes where we could have got all the longs you ever wanted right there for ARM. And then it just absolutely took off. And we had the sort of the trading, the ability to hold this. And both of the best outs that I have is right here, 179, and then the break back down below 180 again. So, man, this was a good trade for me. I really, again, like the stock here with ARM, continues to work. It's just a big trade overall, and $20, we put that in our pocket, and that's ARM Holdings for you. And again, as it was written right here, try not to make it too difficult. We wrote down on this sticky note, go find it. I want to thank everybody. Like, I've gotten, like hundreds of followers recently, a boost. And there it is right there, ARM, between 160 and 162. Long area, looking to play any dips on the AI strength. So it was really easy to look for, and that was just a, good trade. And again, like, you have to sort of stick your neck out sometimes on some of these plays. And it's like, not all the time. You see all the time, like on here, like NVIDIA. You got to have that trader mentality, kind of like that Mamba mentality that we talk about. And that is that not everything's going to go right into your level. You got to look at the stock, analyze the situation, and act on the go. And that's what got us into NVIDIA earlier. And that's what really got us, into this ARM. We knew we wanted the 160 level. So we sat there and took it. And to be honest with you guys, we got filled. You know this. We got filled in the pre-market. When those imbalances came out, this just whacked right down into us. And then it gave a couple more minutes there right off the open. That's 9:30, right? Bang! Straight there to the upside. So we did get some out, like for basically 50, 60 cents, because we're like, huh? And then it just absolutely took off to the point where this right there is $10. Like, you're going to hear, like, you're going to see some trades for me taking, like, a couple pennies here and there. This is a $20 move right there. And that's a $20 winner. So, even if I had the lowest amount of shares there, it would still have been P&L number one just because it was $20. So great move there. We're really happy with it. We're able to, do what we do, and we're up more today than we were down yesterday. So that's a good day for us. So we'll, we'll still sit back and watch that, and we'll see what winds up happening now with ARM. But again, Tesla right now, $1 in the money. And like I said, remember, it's like, sometimes $1 is good enough, and you got to sort of base it out on what you've been doing on the trade. Right there, here comes Tesla. I'm bidding 20s. Boom, Neil. That's another face slapper right there as it just comes right back in again, and we get 26s. So right there, I know when we went to us, I was like, well, I'm going to go short on Tesla. It hits the 50-period moving average, and we always say, stick to your plan, Stan. And that was it right there for Tesla. A nice little move to the downside. Now more than $1 in the money, just sort of adding it. Thank you, AK, and everybody else out there. This is why we're here, right? Trade, have profitable stocks, have profitable trades, and have a good time. And I think we're accomplishing all of that. So I want to thank
100%.
everybody.
And that ARM was the long arm of the law.
Yeah, man.
Great show. Whatever. I loved Cops. Long arm was the second best character on that one. ARM all-time high is tomorrow, next week, Friday. I don't know. It's 189, but it seems like it. It's just, you see how explosive it is with a $20 winner. Like, it speaks for itself. I'm glad I learned my lesson with ARM about this is the kind of stock that I don't think you can get into it in the long term without just like being able to just close your eyes and DCA it, because it's kind of overpriced on any kind of a rational basis, but yet it doesn't matter. Like we said, only 10% is available to the public because it's very widely insider held, and they didn't come to market with a lot of shares. So when it does go, it's very squeeze heavy. It also means it can pull back pretty big. Like this does a 20, 30% pullback. Those are the times that you want to be able to pick it up. I do believe, if I'm not mistaken, we are going to have a guest this afternoon.
Oh, wow.
Joining us from the, give me a nod if we're ready here, but joining us from the West Coast, we're supposed to have our good friend Rahim Alani, but okay, not yet.
Yeah, not even close. All right, just really quickly.
I was told 2:30.
Yeah. No. All right, so just real quick here. All right, thank you. Yeah, thank you so much, Pro Day Trader and everybody there in the chat. I'm watching out for Tesla breaking lower. There was one thing there. Dogecoin was down. Oh yeah, how about this? I just saw this story. You want to talk about minting millionaires, as we said this over and over again. So NVIDIA's IPO is coming on right now. Back in 1999, they IPO'd. So it's long ago, but there's going to be lots of stories like this. But what a story this is. If you invested in NVIDIA in 1999, you would have $1,000 you invested in NVIDIA in 99. $1,000 could be yours in Palantir. $5.9 million off of a $1,000 investment in NVIDIA. So at 99, most of us, some of us not born, but most of us would have had $1,000. Talk about not sitting here right now if I had done that. What an absolute monster there for NVIDIA. When I saw that number, I was like, huh? Say what?
It's insane.
But there it is right there. The original $1,000 investment back in 1999, worth now $5.9 million. Trader TV Live wouldn't even exist if I had, well, it probably would have, because I wouldn't have $5.9 million right now. I probably would have sold it all on the way back up. But nice move there for NVIDIA. And just talking about minting millionaires and
More
100 millionaires
I was gonna say,
as we go there. Congratulations to everybody that's been working at NVIDIA. I have a friend that's made multiple millions of dollars on NVIDIA. I can even show you. I did actually one day.
You did show.
I did show. Yeah, he made.
Was it Facebook?
And NVIDIA. Yeah, he dropped.
No.
30 grand.
It was on Facebook.
Yes. Good memory.
It wasn't.
Yeah. So it was. He
Facebook
dropped like 30 grand into Meta and NVIDIA about 10 years ago, and we were texting back and forth. And he's like, "Just hold on to these. It'll be fine." Blah blah blah. And he sends me a message the other day, or about 6-8 months ago.
It's one of the reasons why when people say hold on for the dream, that's part of it. Like it's like these quantum stocks, man. Like my wife, we got into D-Wave, which look like they could be worth nothing. They could be no breakthroughs. Yeah. But when it gives you a double, triple, whatever it might be, you bank some of the profit. You can just hold the rest. Now you got a free roll on a stock that maybe turns into the next big thing.
The next Palantir.
Yeah, it could. I mean, it could be. They're a long way. The difference between Palantir and these stocks is like the length of time that Palantir was around before it turned into like now. Like that was a long. So it's a more difficult comparison. I think it'd be like a more apt comparison would be like a Tesla,
right,
than a Palantir, because Tesla was like here for not very long and then a big.
Yeah, I mean NVIDIA would have gone way under their IPO price, I'm sure, at one point as well. Like AMD used to be $2 name.
Yeah.
So
hey, we are now ready. We are now ready to go to the desk with Adara, and then we'll have Rahim Alani join us.
Not join us though.
To be aware here, Riot did make a bit of a move. I'm not seeing any actual news in any way on it. The one thing I am seeing is a kind of misleadingly worded social media post. So basically, what the post is saying is that, Riot and these crypto miners are pushing to the upside because Riot's going to be using its capacity for AI data centers and not Bitcoin mining. That headline is incorrect, and it's also from yesterday. So yesterday, Riot basically posted on their website they're going to be formally evaluating the potential of using their remaining 600 megawatts of power at their Texas facility for AI instead of for Bitcoin mining. So this is just an evaluation. This is in no way a hard decision. The other thing, though, that could be bullish here with this catalyst is the fact that this facility is in Corsicana, Texas. We know that the first round of this Project Stargate AI fundraising is going to be in Texas. So that is of note, but I want to clarify there's no actual news per se on Riot. That seems to be why it's moving, though, guys. Back to you.
Hey, what's up? Rahim.
Get this man off the screen. Just get this man off the screen. Hey, Rahim, how's it going? Do we even have to ask you that?
It's cold, buddy. It's cold.
Shut up. Honestly, Rahim, what's the temperature of that water?
You got a lot of nerve to say it's cold.
It's cold. It's minus 20 something right here right now, Rahim. I'm walking outside. I can't even breathe.
It's cold.
Okay, it's cold. Okay.
A, it doesn't get that cold in Vancouver. B, you're chilling out in a pool right now. Aren't you at a conference?
Raheem, I see the steam coming off of the water, my guy. I mean, come on. This is...
Nobody told us you were on vacation, Raheem.
I came to do a business meeting, and we decided that we would just have the meeting here at the pool.
Okay. See, now we're getting more into what's actually happening here right now. But, well, congratulations. It seems like it's starting off to be a nice business meeting right there. What do you guys over there discuss? What's going on? What's on Raheem Alani's mind these days?
First, I got to give a congrats to Neil. That was a tough game, but I guess we'll all be cheering for Buffalo now. So congrats, and I'm going to be cheering for Buffalo for the first time in my life. That's okay.
Well, thank you. Like I said, I was the Baltimore Ravens. I a ton of respect for. Like they're an unbelievable team. They're the one team that scared me. You know, so
yeah.
Look, they fought, but your boy didn't really come through. But you know what? At least you can then focus on the strength that we're seeing in this market right now. Whether it's this AI bump across the board. Whether it's crypto, Bitcoin specifically making a fresh high, it's been fantastic. I think infrastructure spending is going to it's turning into a bit of a thing. You've seen some industrial start to make some bounces here in the U.S. But there's a couple of things. A, how does that affect maybe some names in Canada, if you can mention that? And also, we do have this overhang of tariffs that are still there for Canadian stocks. Are there any plays in that regard?
Yeah, those are both great points, and those are conversation pieces that have been discussed. I am here at a mining conference, in all seriousness. And the talk around mining, one thing that you might want to start to look at is, depending on America's energy independence, look at uranium plays that are based in the U.S. There haven't been any announcements around the use of critical minerals, including uranium, coming from Canada. So there's no necessarily tariff news on that side yet, but the Department of Energy in the U.S. has given grants to a couple of different uranium companies. So you may want to look up that information to see which Canadian listed companies on the uranium side might be able to supply into the U.S. The gas side, I mean, one of our biggest exports outside of car parts is oil and gas to the U.S. Obviously, with temperatures dipping the way they've dipped, nat gas prices have gone up, and so you're going to see some of that. So look at Canadian names that are exporting to the U.S. pre the Biden administration, and ones that will look to take advantage of the Keystone Pipeline coming up here. So look at the gas names as well, and uranium names. Those are two things that did get discussed here at the conference. And a commodity that not a lot of people know about is antimony. I think we did discuss that a few weeks back. There is some noise around the antimony plays just for their use in the critical space as well.
Yeah, that's definitely a big talk. We actually had some super chats about that. Well, a super chat about that last night, so I'm glad you were able to touch on that. Specifically, look, nat gas is known to be a little bit temperamental in terms of an asset for volatility. But when it comes to there's some stable plays in there in Canada. I know on the nat gas side that just overall energy plays like an Enbridge that you can get a nice little dividend, and it gives you a better. It just gives you a better avenue, which you're not going to get the home run or the 10x when nat gas goes up, but it gives you that better avenue to invest in. But are there any smaller names maybe that you're aware of that maybe you can shoot us in the future that do give you a bit more juice? Not that Enbridge is bad.
Yeah, I mean, off the top of my head, and I am here for a mining conference, so mining is resonating in my head. But look at Kelt, K-E-L. I might have mentioned that before. That's a nat gas play. If you are looking at it, it is a decent swing trade as well. It'll dip sometimes into the high sixes, get up into the mid sevens. I think it's probably around 720, 740 right now. Again, because of the last couple of days on pricing on nat gas. So that's a nice name to look at for sure.
Yeah, and that's just showing everybody here. Nice bull flag, nice little bit of a double top here as well, and it's been performing really well. Just broke out on the daily, above the 50 period, holding that $7 level. So glad we can always put you on the spot, and you'll have a little something for us as far as an individual name there, Raheem.
No problem. And again, if you are looking at the gas names, definitely look at names that are producers and look at names that have some connectivity to the North American space, because there are a lot of gas companies as well that are listed outside, that have assets outside of North America, but I think North America will be a play on the gas side.
Rahim Alani, thank you so much for all the insights, man. I mean, you're absolutely killing us right now. The chat's really loving this and wishing that they were joining you over there. When are you coming back? And safe travels when that happens, and then come back to the show for sure. So when are you coming back, and how long are you there for, and what does your schedule look like?
Well, I'm leaving tonight. I came in for a conference yesterday and day before. Have a couple more meetings here today, and then heading to the airport tonight. So got to enjoy a little bit of Vancouver. It's a little bit gray, as it always is here, but there is a lot of sentiment, positive sentiment, steaming around the AI side as well.
Right.
So I think there'll be a lot of news coming out of that space, especially in Canada, because we do have some good technology here. But especially with everything that got announced yesterday with Stargate, right? Everybody wants to take advantage of those opportunities. So I think you will see a lot more stuff happening on the AI side here in Canada.
We saw names like Celestica and whatnot starting to rip up the last time.
Talked about that before, yeah, BlackBerry.
Yeah, exactly. And the last time you were on here as well. So, all right, Rahim Alani, enjoy yourself, and thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to, incite us about some of those plays and let us know the life that you're living. So it's Rahim Alani, Managing Director of OCI. Thank you, Rahim.
Thanks, Rahim.
All right, guys, take care.
I feel as if
I just had to get rid of him ASAP because I can't just sit there and watch that. I mean, this guy's killing me. But thank you, Rahim, for coming on, and what a great segment.
Yeah.
I thought that was really funny that he did that from the pool, and
I guarantee you this. The
Yeah.
second that camera went off,
He's doing laps.
no, there's a beverage that's got a.
Maybe. Oh, we almost got a sneak peek right there. We almost got a sneak peek. Ramin.
Okay, Ramin still got.
All right, Ramin. We'll have
I'm
to,
just saying. Usually, if you're at a conference,
Raheem, if you're still watching this, man, disconnect immediately. You never know what might happen over there.
not that I go to conference, not that I go to any conference.
No, we're not. I'm literally not allowed to go anywhere. We have to take our vacation.
My wife's at a job where she gets to go to conferences, and usually there's the social aspect to it as well, which is perfect. That's perfectly fine. Why did I type? Oh, because someone said the word BlackBerry. That's why. Why did I just bring up BlackBerry for no apparent?
You want to trade the stock or?
Well, what's weird about BlackBerry, believe it or not, is it's kind of on a breakout. I don't know why I'm looking at it in Toronto. Most of you people would look at this stock in the New York Exchange. But BlackBerry actually, oddly enough, is holding a bit of a bull flag. That said, it was before we went to Rahim, we did mention, or at least Dara mentioned maybe an incorrect headline with regard to Riot. You're seeing it pull heftily back in here. So, I don't know, Bitcoin's not really doing a heck of a lot. We're still at 104.5. Yeah. You're still at 104.5. I think, if Riot's going to make a secondary move or the miner's going to make a secondary move, you can see this resistance. It's kind of 105 that we can't seem to break out from. Here on IBIT, that's working out to the 59.6 level, has been a bit of a pullback zone here for Riot, for IBIT. But when I saw the volume, I was thinking the same way. I'm like, what's going on with Riot? Is there going to be something here for some follow through? If Bitcoin catches a bid, maybe there's a secondary play here for it. Tisha Perkins just said, "Can you go over this ticker?" Sure, BLBX. This stock has been ridiculous. BLBX most of the day, and it just made another high break. I think this was Sharif would have been on this one. Obviously, in the midday they cover a lot of these bad boys. It's just clean and clear above pretty much all of its bag holdish kind of levels where people would have got stuck at 4, stuck at 5, and now you're just off to the races. Super small float though on BLBX. I think we mentioned that this morning. It's more about the float being 1.8 million share float, which it's done 200 million shares. Huh. I actually had to double check. It's usually I say something like it's done 10 times the float. In this particular case, that is a hefty understatement. I can't remember the last time I saw something do 100. Maybe that float's not right. 100 times its float today? Okay.
100 times its float? Well, we've probably seen that before. Like a stock that's 4 million share float. Well, how much was that one?
1.8? I guess we've probably seen it before.
That stock LEDs this morning. That was 3.
Yeah, nothing comes to mind.
Hold on a second. Somebody super chatted LES this morning.
That's a lot of volume.
All right, here's this volume nowhere near what the example that Neil's giving, of course. But we got a super chat this morning, if you don't remember, from LEDS, and that was in the pre-market, and that was a great one. So whoever that was, congratulations. That bull is riding with you on LEDS today, up 7.5%. News or not, I don't know, but we got super chatted this name earlier on. So I want to say thank you to all and every single person that's watching the show right now for keep on, like you just mentioned, BLBX with Tisha there, providing us with some of these looks, because like there's another one. It hasn't done a lot of volume and maybe it was a little tough to grab, but at the end of the day, LEDS, I remember it from the morning, 3 million share float, only 600,000 shares, but a nice little runner. If I don't throw to Adara, we're going to get in trouble because Ramin's already questioning whether or not we hear her on the mic or not. So, we're going to go over to Adara.
It's a double-edged sword. You're trying to keep a conversation going, and I don't know.
Yeah, it's all good. It's all good. We'll go over and we'll figure out what's going on with Adara.
We do have here XRP. This is a 15-minute chart. Ripple clearly getting a big increase in volume here and pushing to the upside. As we speak, it just made a big move here. I'm not seeing any move here in any news on XRP. However, apparently on the SEC website, it showed that SEC's acting chair here, Mark Ueda, is going to have a closed-door meeting. People think because of the fact that we have this new SEC, or at least acting SEC, that combined with the fact that the current SEC acting chair basically has started this crypto task force to work on some regulations, people think there's a chance that XRP and that SEC lawsuit with Ripple could actually be settled. So that's what people are thinking there. There could be some resolution. Again, there is zero news or zero confirmation, but I had to bring this up because of that volume push to the upside. Also, CRSP. This one's gotten quite the move. This also, though, it's giving back a little bit of it here. It looks like CRISPR is moving because RFK Jr. here, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., who is Donald Trump's pick here for health secretary nominee, he's going to have to apparently divest his biotech investments, including his investment in CRISPR, ahead of his confirmation hearing. So keep an eye here in CRSP. They also have a very notable short float, around 23%, guys.
Wait a minute.
I clearly don't understand things because, like...
Can't you...
No, but why does he have to divest in it, but like other people
sense.
Can buy things and hold on to them? So maybe you have to
put it
divest and then rebuy it?
You put it in trust, or it's like someone... I don't know. I thought there was a different... You guys... For all the Americans out there, I thought there was a different mechanism by which, like, you wouldn't actually have to get rid of the holding, but it goes under someone else's control, whatever it might be. But how much does he even own that that's going to be that big of a move for the stock? That's what I would wonder. And just to answer, there was a question in the chat about Sana, S-A-N, not like a sauna where Raheem is probably headed to after he gets out of the pool. No, S-A-N-A, which I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, anybody, but I think this was they got a massive spike because they had some alternative treatment for diabetes, or they were talking of a potential cure. I saw Martin Shkreli was talking about this name, the pharma boy. I'm pretty sure this is the one. But like all biotech, biopharma names, like look at this. Like you go up, and then all it does after the news is sell right back up. But I like the hold of the 50 period and the prior low. I think this is a kind of like a textbook dip, break the trend, maybe get back to the $5 level. So there's your day one on SANA. I think it's Sana. I don't know which way you're supposed to pronounce it. But then all it has to do tomorrow, hold on to this prior high and that support, break out the top. I think you got room to the $4 level and maybe an extension into 5. You got to let these things calm down. It's not uncommon to have a good trial result on one of these types of names, and then once it gets that bounce, immediately dump. Because that's how people that, when you're buying into this on the bottom, you're just waiting for one of these pops to give you an out. That's kind of the idea with it. But I am looking at that name. Just maybe not today. Look for a little continuation play. It's not totally different from what the quantum names did, although I would venture those were all stronger stocks when they did their pullback. But yeah, Sana definitely on my radar for sure. Richie Rich says Palantir seems like a buy before earnings.
Yes. It is, yes, correct.
Yes, it is.
I mean, look, we can talk about Palantir, or not. Hey, Randy, let's look at Tesla quickly because you're here still. All right, so 418, 419. We're short Tesla. We've been covering. We almost have, we still have about 15% left of this position, but not really participating today. The Nasdaq up 1.48. Tesla's starting to come back in a little bit here. If we will look at a daily chart for Tesla, what a move up! Obviously, holding on to that 50-period moving average. For those of the trading heads around here, we like to sort of look at that 50-period moving average and say, hey, until we break it, we're not really in trouble. But what do you think right now about Tesla? I mean, forget about the chart. We just lost that EV credit, right, in the United States. So. Is that, like for me, I think that's a negative, right? I mean, some people were talking about how, okay, they've lost it, so did everybody else. So now that kind of just flattens out but then it also puts the Model 3 and everything like that back up another $7 or $8 grand and putting them closer to some of the competition's prices out there as well. So
a lot of credits disappearing.
And
not just in the States, it's in Europe, it's elsewhere.
Right.
The governments are tired of handing out dosh to promote. Yes, I said Dosh.
Okay.
To get you into an EV, not Doge, Dosh.
Dosh.
What does that stand for?
So how long will it last?
Yeah.
That's a good question.
Is this an inflationary move?
So
I kind of feels like it's a short-term bearish thing. Long-term, if you're playing the absolute long game from like a war of attrition, then it can be a bullish thing for them long-term because it can weed out some of the competition. And then they can be, that's only a long-term.
The only way to combat this is the cost of their labor and their supply chain, period.
Aren't they moving their whole plant basically robotic? I mean, that would handle a lot of those labor costs.
Raw material costs and supply chain costs are still there. I mean, you can automate your production as much as you're able, but yeah.
All right, another thing. Is it just me, or like, why don't we ever hear anything else about some of these Model 2s or anything anymore? Like, have they sort of forgot about that? Is it just a robo-taxi story now that we just wait for that to be the next thing? Are there any models coming out? What's going on over here?
They've got to get the Q, the 2, whatever they want to call it.
Is the Q a possible name there?
And because it'll be obviously a much more cost-effective model than we're hoping than the 3 or the Y, but there's competition. We have Hyundai pounding out the Ioniqs left, right, and center, and they're very cost-effective, very well built. They're great vehicles. The Polestar 3. There's lots of other models from other manufacturers out there. Yes, the Polestar 3 is going to be made in the States.
Canada, Oakville.
No.
Isn't there someone? Ford is doing something they changed that plant in Oakville.
Ford was to build EVs in Oakville, and then
they scrapped that division. I think the Ford Blue or whatever it was.
Yeah. So.
They're getting punished right now for it.
So you can't push or pressure the consumer into making the switch when there's range anxiety and high prices and inflation and so.
Interesting
fun,
stuff. And then we have the strong U.S. dollar, of course, affecting trade and some of the tariffs and some of the export prices and import prices of the raw materials. So that was a very good point there. All right, you have something for Randy, or we want to let him go? So I was just going to say safe travels, but if we still want to talk to him.
No, it's all good.
You're back tomorrow.
He's back tomorrow.
Maybe not.
No, we can talk. Well, tomorrow's Thursday. Friday is when you usually know.
Oh, I have an announcement.
I was going to ask. Well, we can talk about Rivian tomorrow.
Ramin knows maybe what this announcement may be.
The wings?
Correct. We may be having. Want to do it Friday?
I thought it was Friday.
Oh, you're not here Friday?
No. All right, it's tomorrow then. I like wings on a Friday, but that's fine.
All right, so if we got, let's just say, pretend that we got wings tomorrow from Wingstop. We're going Wingstop, right? Is that what we were talking about? Or Wild Wing? I don't know what we're going to do. We'll get it figured out. What would be I think you're like a hickory kind of guy, but where would we stand if you had one choice or a couple of choices maybe on sauce? What would it be? I actually don't mind naked wings, to be honest with you.
I like heat. So they used to have a habanero hickory.
Yes, okay.
Which, I mean, it wasn't very smoky, but it was in a nice slow build heat. You get the little sweats, the forehead sweats and all that good stuff. This time of year when it's cold out, nice to have a little heat.
You said they used to, though. Like, that doesn't help us if they don't have it anymore.
Their menus change, and, they're constantly coming up with new flavors and new
Someone
recipes.
said
I want the hottest wing that they have.
That would be the ghost pepper.
Yeah, the mango habanero. We've gotten that before.
It's not that hot. The mango's
no, not
but it's good.
Hot.
It's tasty.
It's good. Yeah,
real.
The ghost pepper ones. Ooh, look out.
Atomic apparently is the hottest.
Called Atomic.
You'll try that?
Be throwing down.
We get
yes,
Atomic?
he'll try it. Of course, he'll try it.
Okay, let's do that.
He's down. All right. Yeah, no, Randy and I are not brothers, although sometimes we may look like that. Please stop insulting Randy. Okay, so.
But you've been here the same length, or no, wait a minute. Maybe not.
Yeah, Randy's been here a couple more years than I.
Okay. He's here when Randy was here when I got here. So.
Yeah, Randy is the man. Thank you, Randy, for joining us.
As always.
Randy lives about an hour and change up north from here. So that's why we always say safe travels to Randy, and where it is much colder and much harsher weather.
The kind of weather where people start complaining about their range on their electric vehicle.
Yes, I heard some people were telling me that sometimes you need to have a garage. But I think, I asked someone actually this morning at hockey, because I saw them and I know that they drive a Tesla. They're started no problem.
Well, my neighbors was
minus
fine.
20 Celsius. Yeah.
Well, they start from, the concern is
if you have a
it's
garage.
the range issue. Like, it's just
right. The battery
it
degrades.
Degrades. That's right. So can you get the same range you're used to in this weather? I think most Canadians are smart enough to realize you just anticipate that you won't, and that's about it. Because when it gets to these kind of temperatures here, like minus 28 with the wind chill, and minus 17 we were staring at. That's a little bit ridiculous. Just very quickly, I saw someone in the chat was mentioning new, NU that is, not like a new symbol, but this one looking pretty solid. The, what do we call it again? The SoFi of South America, or is it Brazil? Either or.
South America.
South America, so all of South America. This is starting to look, I mean, it's already done a revert from the bottom. You've seen the SoFi chart, obviously, by now. But the 50 period, maybe a little bit of a consolidation or consolidative level that it could play into. So gotta watch this NU. I don't know if it's
21.
Look, obviously a lot of gotta talk about SoFi because this is load. This is one that just recently broke out. Whenever someone asks about like an NU, it's a weird thing to say because some people want that bottom, always want the bottom. I get more excited with a stock that's strong, that's continuing, than I do about trying to find the bottom. So I'm like, okay, well, that's great on NU, but SoFi could give you a consolidation off the highs on an already good-looking chart, or maybe a pullback into the 50 on an already good-looking chart instead of trying to find a bottom on NU, which it very well might be making that bottom right now as we speak.
I'm getting a little bit bored of this Roblox. We haven't even really talked about this trade. I wanted to get to it. My guy Randy came through, so let's just talk about this real quick. So I shorted Roblox initially because, let me just show this to you. We had, and it's going to be, like, we don't have, and we're lucky today. We talked about this yesterday. We had a great day yesterday, but that one Tesla trade kept me in the red. And again, I'll always mention to you guys if we're green or red on the day. But right into here, 66.05, like I was just going short against this, what I thought was a little bit of a shelf here. Forget about, like, if I could cover up like all of this over here, I would, because I didn't see this happening, right? But we were going short into here, and I was just giving it to some of these levels right here. Like 66.10 is where my stop is. If it breaks 66.10, we're out. So that first play there, we got 97s down to the 50 period, which was like 85s, 87. So that's like 10 cents. Then we had to go, we were doing some work, blah, blah, blah. Then we got filled up here at 66.05, giving ourselves 5 cents worth of risk, only to come back and take it. So again, another 7, 8 to 1 there on that downside as we break lower, get out. So, I mean, this is just what we're doing here. I mean, it's been a great trade for Roblox. And now I have, like I said, less than 10%. Yeah, less than 10% of this trade. How many shares? Oh, way less right now on Roblox. So, we have less than 10% on Tesla. On Roblox right now, we have 15% exactly left. So we'll take a little piece out here as we get a little bored at the 50-period moving average. The reason why I was like, was because VWAP right here, I'm short Tesla, and Tesla's come back, and I'll talk about that. And again, it's the Tesla trade that we have 10% left on. It's just the NASDAQ just bounced off VWAP pretty good. Like, this is not going to look like, oh my God, that's a crazy bounce, but it's just from my studies, from how I trade and so on and so forth, this is good enough for me. Right there, the hold down here at VWAP, at past support, does not come in. We talked about 22,000. What a surprise. VWAP right now is at 22,000. We nailed that short on the futures earlier. That was a good trade for us. But for right now, we're trying to hold that level, and it looks like we're trying to get a bit higher. So Roblox, we're going to get some out. We just got some more out right there. We're going to make sure that we stay profitable and stay green on that. And obviously the same thing is going to be true of Tesla as we have a small piece left. I will try this again because it's been a red stock against 421. All right, so right now, we're short right here, right now, and I am going to take some more here at the 200 period and then use 421 as our out. All right, so we're short Tesla right here. We're also short Roblox a little bit higher than this. I'm going to put a bid out maybe here at 95 if we're lucky enough to get some, great. And then we'll see if we get 90s and then so on and so forth. But Roblox, man, it's adding to this right now here today. Big trading, obviously, on Amazon. You saw me and Neil both call that name through 233. That was a good trade with our best out, man, at 235.22. So that's $2 there of a win. And then we got out finally when it broke VWAP, which is still a win. So today, man, Amazon, you don't take the cake, but you're a good trade.
I think they handed the baton, Amazon, to Apple just now.
Oh, maybe.
Apple just
let's go over Apple. What's Apple doing?
Well, Apple just broke the high of the day. I was about to, someone asked in the chat about, what's going on with the futures, and it was just sort of saying we bounced off that the 22,000 on the NASDAQ. I don't know why I have text there. 22,000 on the NASDAQ, and now you've broken this slight trend down on the futures. By the way, mean reversions on the futures actually work pretty well. Bang, bang, mean revert here, never really doesn't break the prior bar high, pulls back into VWAP. I don't know, I haven't really observed that too much. But there's the trend down that you just broke. So I think 2202 would be what it works out to, the current trend bottom. So I was looking for some longs. Now the first thing that I looked at is Amazon back above VWAP? That was the first thing that came to my mind. And then in the chat, I saw people saying Apple was the one, and Apple breaking highs. It actually doesn't have a red candle on this 3-minute chart. So in the vein of, you can sit around, I can want Oracle to break 186 again, the level that I liked for longs, and it just refuses to do it. Maybe it's a tomorrow thing. Amazon was great this morning, doesn't want to break VWAP, showing resistance. Next available dip on Apple, you've got a prior high, 232 quarters, so you've got a nice area where this could pull back, give you some kind of a dip in this move, and then run into some long opportunities. So Apple, that might have been your shot. We talk about the 200 period moving average on the daily. It's just a line on a chart. If there's buyers on a stock like Apple in front of the 200 period moving average, sometimes they don't let it get there. And every now and then, you're just going to make your bottom out in front of the level that everyone's gearing up for and leaving their buys in. How many people, and I can put my own hand up, would look at that and say, hey, when it cracks underneath that 220, I'll be waiting in the low teens, or at 215, you anchor yourself to a stupid number like that, and then you watch it bounce off 220, and then 2 months later, you're at the all-time high again, right, and you missed your chance at dip buying. And what I've learned from that is if you meet a dip buy off a level and it bounces, and it's a long-term play, what the heck do you care about 0.5% or 1%? You're holding it forever. This is where you wanted the DCA into. Just buy it at the close. If it holds your level, buy it at the close. It's confirmed its hold. Buy the close price, which is better historically than buying open prices, by the way. Let's go to Adara for an ad read.
This part of the show is brought to you by Prop Firm Match. Are you a skilled trader who's lacking capital? Prop firms offer the opportunity to trade with simulated funds, allowing you to showcase your skills, access account sizes ranging from 5K to 500K, and you can start with as little as $20. But with over 500 prop firms out there, how do you find out which ones are the best? That's where Prop Firm Match steps in. Prop Firm Match is your go-to platform for finding and comparing only the most esteemed firms with proven track records and consistent long-term payment histories. Access over 4,500 verified reviews, explore payment histories, and discover the best current deals all in one place. So scan that QR code or visit propfirmmatch.com today and find the perfect prop firm for you. Back to you.
Miss A, thank you so much for that. Okay, so I was just looking at Tesla here and trying to think about some more trades. We've made quite a bit of trades today. Like I said, Amazon, ARM, I was going through them before, but Amazon, ARM, NVIDIA, Roblox, futures, and Tesla. So all 6 of them, pretty decent opportunities today. I really liked this futures trade. That was a mistake. I was on the wrong stock there, so I punched in and punched out. This was a pretty good one early. Eventually, I think we wound up holding probably too much all the way back, but it was a good move down into VWAP, and that was basically, sure, we tested and we tested again, but that little move there on the futures, I hope a lot of you were able to grab that in and around just before we went off the air. Oh no, Yeah, that's right. This is TQs, not the Qs. Just before we went off air around 10:45, we shorted against that top. Here, maybe I'll zoom back in here so you can see it. So there was the fall back in right into VWAP. So some of these shorts is 88.30s, and that one's 88.15. So we had an average price, I think it was like 22s maybe, to the downside right there. And then there's a bid of 87.75, looks like our best. A lot of shares out right here in this sort of consolidated part. We had thought about that, remember? We said that this could either be like that big trade if everything gives back. Just nothing gave back. Netflix gave back fine, but we talked about how Netflix is not going to be a big part of the NASDAQ at all anyways. And then we had stocks like Apple really tanking and then now taking out the highs. Apple touched like 219 or something today off the open. I think we just talked about it, but nice move down in. And then there's the stop out right there. Remember we said we were going to break it. That top was 31. That's 41. So we even talked about our outs live on the show as well. So at the end of the day, that was pretty good. And that was, if you ever make, like right there, if you ever make a keystroke error, like I was just on the wrong stock. So you want to just like punch in and punch out. So that's pretty much what we did there. That's like the same, that's about a minute later there, punching in and punching out at that level. I was just like, yeah, what am I doing?
You know what you don't do?
I don't want to give back.
Actually, I'm glad you said that because we were shooting some stuff today, which took up some of our midday.
Yeah.
And I didn't get a chance to do the lesson of the day. And I don't always show these stocks, but every now and then there's a doozy. So like I gave back, and again, this is like a bio. It doesn't really matter that much. The point being, I gave back like 25% of my day with a stock that I was short by leaving an order in when I was going and shooting videos. So like this stock, it's not a huge range on the day, but on a stock like this, a 20 or 30 cent range is actually quite big when I'm expecting 5 to 10. So I was short the stock in the morning. The previous close was down here. I'm like, oh, I'm just going to go long in front of the previous close. Left the order in when I knew I wasn't going to be sitting at my desk. So I come back to the stock filling me, and I didn't want it, and I could have just punched out right away, but I didn't. What I did do is average into it at the absolute bottom and then get bailed out when it made an up move, which is a silly thing to do. Now, I can tell you the exact reason why I did it. I was like ridiculously arrogant about it. Like I was like, oh, I know the stock. This is where the support is going to be. If I start to see it bounce there, I'm just going to average into the position. That being said, knowing that this is going to be a good bottom has nothing to do with holding on to this trade, which I should have punched out when it broke the low. Like that's literally like a couple of cents worth of risk. And I could have had that bottom and captured a bit of the move. So it just goes to show, like when I break rules, like anybody else, I like to consider myself relatively disciplined in that regard. But I came back, sat down, and was just mad. I'm like, why did I leave that order in there? Refused to punch out, decided, it's got a bottom down here. I can just average into it and then get back to flat on the stock or like slightly up, which is that's not a good reason to average in. But I wanted to show you guys that because in lieu of the lesson of the day, that's one right there. You make a keystroke error, get out. You leave an order in that you didn't mean to be there, and you can come back and get it out for a small hit. You didn't mean to have it in the first place. What are you doing with it? Just get the heck out of Dodge. And then what I could have done at that bottom is taken more shares at the bottom instead of less shares because I was already in. That's the other part of it too. So the market coming back, we're still eyeballing 2202 on the NASDAQ and looking for like this first available dip here in Apple. It's a bit of a red to green story as well. So if you can hold on to this prior high, it's a little messy in here at 223, but this is where I want to work off of. Like it's once, twice, 3 times we kind of humped, had these humps here at about 223. So looking for a bounce off the 223 level. So got in some here at the 20s, and we'll look for the bounce off the even dollars on Apple. NVIDIA about to lose 147. I thought that was at 148. Yeah, NVIDIA starting to lose a little bit here.
Okay.
So strong today. I don't know what's going on with NVIDIA. Maybe it could just be a little bit of a market pullback, maybe some profit taking here on NVIDIA. But that is a little bit of a dip. What's Palantir doing? I can tell you what Palantir is not doing, giving you a dip buy. No. When the market started pulling back, I saw NVIDIA pull back. I'm like, Palantir was great on, and this was another, whatever, it is what it is. You know, VWAP there on Palantir. If you look at that prior high, holding it as support, I thought maybe this afternoon on strength, market comes in, Palantir dips, maybe you get a shot at this support level and then run back into the high of the day. But you just saw that little bit of a dip in NVIDIA and the market. Palantir dropped 1 cent.
Yeah, Palantir's the best. Yeah, good little call there. Call out by whoever was noticing Palantir. Okay, so here comes Tesla again. I was debating getting some out here, so let's just do that. Now we'll bid some 90. Okay, we got it there. We got some 95s, and we'll take another piece as it comes into the 50-period moving average. I mean, 70 cents right there of profit. We're gonna take it, right? Like again, what's up, Kartik? Oh, we have a question here. Good, you tagged me. I like that one. What's up, Kartik? My example here, how long did it take you to be a successful trader? I've been trying for the last 6 months, but end up losing. So, okay, I'll be a little different. So for me, I was able to pick it up quite fast. And, but, I mean, you can, you know, we always talk about our stories and stuff like that, so it's a great question. For me, it's a little different because of that fact, and that is that, you know, for me, I was able to be profitable in my very first month. So it's just one of those things where that's not something that's very often, and it's just one of those things where the fact that you've been trying for 6 months, that's kind of like par for the course. I mean, you know, most traders will take years to become profitable if they're profitable at all. And, you know, that's part of the rub about being a trader, is that it does take a lot of time, energy, patience, practice, frustrations, to become the trader that you want to be. And I mean, I've hired and helped hire thousands of traders, and out of those thousands, maybe tens were eventually able to earn a living trading. And that's why we talk about that all the time here live on the show, is about making sure that you keep your expectations in line with what you're doing, and make sure that you don't try to set your goals too lofty. You know, you don't sort of run before you walk. And I think it's about being realistic. That's why we always tell you guys, you could just ask us if we're green or red, and I think you'd be surprised at how many days we're actually green or red on the day. You know, and I just think that what I mean by that is like, it's one thing to control risk, that's fine. But to actually make enough money to have a living trading, you have to put on risk, and you have to be right a lot more than you're wrong. And that's a very, very tough thing. I mean, we can even just talking about us here, even in the chat. I mean, you guys in the chat, put in there, just to help Kartik here, how many of you are profitable day traders, and maybe how long on average did it take for you to become that, right? So I didn't even really tell you my story, Kartik, but that was, you are welcome right there. The number one quality for trading is to be a trader. Yeah, I would say, I mean, discipline, we talk about that, but it's also having balls, you know? And what I mean by that is being brave enough to put on the trade, and being brave enough to use, you know, the right amount of shares at the right time, to be able to be disciplined enough to, you don't have to live and breathe trading, but you have to know what you're doing. And that's why I sit here and I talk to you all the time. There's more people that have no idea what they're doing than have an idea what they're doing. And so you just got to be like, look at this Tesla trade. Neil doesn't have it. I have it. He has different trades than me. We all have different ideas. This guy's long on Apple. Will that win? I don't know. I'm not worried about that trade. I'm just worried about the trades that I have on board. You know, so that's why I'm trying to tell you guys, like, not every trader, not every mentality is built the same way. It's like someone says to us, wow, like we heard this before, like about training and being that athlete, and how it takes so much perseverance and discipline and dedication to be on that ice, to be on that court, to be in that cage, you know, to hit those 10,000 golf balls, to become a professional athlete. Well, you want to become a professional trader, guess what? I mean, yeah.
Same thing.
It's extremely tough to become that way, you know? And I mean, like I've said many, many times, I haven't met many people out of the 1,000 traders that we've brought on here that have been able to make a consistent living day trading. Start small, Kartik. Don't worry about it. 6 months is just kind of like your tuition. I really think that all of you that are real traders and can see the trades that we put on here every single day, whether or not it's Neil's trades, my trades, Joe's, Sharif's trades, all of that, you know, it does take something else to find winning trades. And it's very, very tough to become a professional in anything, a dentist, whatever. So to become a professional trader, it does take a lot of time. And we just hope that by subscribing, watching, and liking the stream, you'll get as much information as possible so you can make that journey a complete and whole one for yourself. Not everybody's going to have, like I'm 6 for 6 today, that's just going to be one of those days. It's not going to be every day. And that's what it's about. Thank you for the question, and I apologize for the longer answer.
No worries on that. The only thing I would say is, look, obviously, my story is not too terribly dissimilar. I was profitable my second month. But there was a trader, and I'm not going to name names, but one of the traders who was around here for one of the longest stints. He had a successful over 10-year career. I'd have to go back to remember when we hired him at campus to remember exactly how long it was. It was definitely over 10 years, not north of 15, let's just say. But he graduated, which required making a couple $1,000s in a month, after 1 year. It took him a year to graduate. And then in his first year of trading, when he became a full-time trader, he actually worked overnight to sustainably support that income. And then he ended up with a long career. There's no one path. And the other thing you've got to keep in mind, there are strategies which over the year have paid bills. And, like I'm fortunate to have had the overwhelming majority of my income as a working adult has been from trading. But there are strategies that have, at one time, Europe was a very good strategy. We're trading European stocks that I don't even look at today. Trading Toronto has been a profitable strategy. There's lots of, I started out as a penny stock trader. So I first graduated and ramped up on penny stocks. And I only traded penny stocks for like at least 6 months when I started out as a trader. You don't know what it's going to be for you. So it's not just, it's not just trading these types of names that you see, like these fast-paced and big cap tech stocks. There's a million things out there that are ways to make money. Maybe it's that BMRX. Maybe those style of stocks are best for you. Maybe it's not BMRX. I might have that symbol wrong. No, but it doesn't really matter. At the end of the day, there's a lot of ways that you can skin a cat, and you don't always see that reflected. But trust me, I can tell you this: the majority of traders that have had success long term typically are not shy about trying different styles of trading, different markets, different types of stocks. Like Luis comes on here and he trades only small cap. You got to be able to do whatever works for you, not what you happen to think was cool. Because I was, I had to be directed toward what at the time penny stocks. Well, it was actually to small cap stocks, and then I realized that I could do even better on penny stocks when I got directed to small cap stocks. Like I was put on Sienna, which was $1.40. And then looked at it and was like, ooh, if I trade this stock this way, I can really bank on these 25, 30, 40, 50 cent stocks. And that ended up working out. I wouldn't have discovered that if I had been left to my own devices. So.
All right. I still make 100 trades a day, like today on Amazon. And I don't really consider them all trades. So the fact that we're 6 for 6, like this is one trade, but you know what? I have 30 fills here. That doesn't seem right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, yeah, maybe 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Oh, yeah, 15 fills, right. Oh, no, hold on a second here. Let me look. Yeah, 15, sorry, back and forth. So,
double counts.
15 fills there today on that stock. So, yeah, 14 trades. I have 18 trades on ARM today, but this is one trade. But I have 18, so I have 1 fill and then 17 outs. On Roblox here today, right? This is basically 2 trades. You could have reloaded it again, but look at the outs again coming through, right? More outs on that one. NVIDIA, 1 trade, but how many? My thing keeps moving. 12 fills. So 1 trade, 12 fills. So basically, I have like 6 or 7 ideas today, but many more fills. And that's the way that I trade. So that is that as we go. So, okay. That is that. Thank you so much, Bitcoin trader. That's why it's not about being an amazing trader. It's not. You guys are just seeing, the trades that we're putting through right here for you. And you could just judge it. Whatever it goes, it goes. It's kind of like, when you see, I don't know. I look at it and I watch. You talked about some sports analogies there. Like when Austin Matthews scores a goal, it's like that's his job is to score goals. So I'm trying to show you here that it is possible to do this. We're going to be green today, and it's going to be a good day. And again, the ideas are really working out, and when they do, you need to prosper from them. And that's exactly what we've been doing here, and it's been a really good day. So it's 320. So let's just continue to look. I mean, you guys saw me put this trade on, and it was a good one, right? So that was a nice little trade there for Tesla. So there's another example. There's going to be so many haters out there, right? Like, honestly, this is why I tell you to ask us any questions you want. We're going to be honest about everything, right? Sharif will tell you when he's red. Joe, everybody will do the same thing. So you just judge us by that. And hopefully we're able to educate you, and not every trade we're going to put on is going to be a winner. I'm out more and more of Tesla now as we just took some more fills. It came right back into, again, a level that we liked, right back into here. So instead of now having to worry about punching out, we're now getting lighter and lighter as we head back into the close. So there it goes, man. Again, thank you for everything, and I just hope that some of the trades that we're able to show you, including this ARM one today, makes a little bit of sense. And that we can replicate them not just tomorrow, but moving forward. That's what we're all about. So, again, thank you for all the nice talk there, and we're just going to keep on supporting everybody on the show, and keep having those good vibes. So, on to more trades. Kyle, what's up? He wants to know about the TQs. Okay, so again, we traded the futures. We'll be the only one here that trades the futures, and it's been pretty good for us over the while. Just looking at that 200 period, I think you're right, Kyle. I would short the TQs as long as we stay underneath that 200 period, especially heading into the close. I don't know. Well, we could talk about, Dara put together the sheet for tonight on who's reporting.
So tonight it's pretty light.
Yeah, it's Kinder Morgan, KMI, it's American Airlines, DFS, and that's it. So there's not too much going, but I mean, AA.
Well, that's a rocket.
Oh, sorry, not that's Alcoa. AAL is American Airlines. It's AA that's reporting tonight. So yeah, this is not a rocket.
It used to be they would lead off earnings.
Yeah, I know. And then all of a sudden,
that's how old we are.
See Netflix there coming through.
We used to
overnight.
It's so hilarious because if you're a market old head, then the first thing, it's like earnings season started when Alcoa reported. And then it's now, obviously nothing stays the same forever, which is a good thing, not a bad thing, but ultimately, yeah, I remember, that was the big, Alcoa is reporting, and then you'd start to get all excited about it, but it is what it is. It doesn't matter. We're still going to have a fun time in the aftermarket show. Ask us questions. I actually didn't get a chance to discuss. Usually in the midday at some point, I figure out or find out what Adara was trading. I know she likes spready names, so my first question is, well, heck, did you try to trade Netflix? Which she just said yes to. All right, so a couple of things.
MSTR, Netflix, VST,
MSTR,
Microsoft.
VST makes sense. VST, by the way, strong mover. Just one note, I'm going to show you Apple, but ignore VWAP on my chart, which I'm not using right now for this trade, is going to be off. For some reason, I'm just missing a little bit of data. And I know if I see this data's off, I know it's going to be missing the VWAP is a correct price. It's probably just a little bit lower than it should be, but it just bounced off that prior low. Bit of a rounded bottom, broke the trend. We're able to add there, and we're going to see if it can't get to the high of the day. You've got Apple going up when the futures are, still coming down a little bit. So the futures haven't really bounced off that higher low that you've put in, and Apple's trying to bounce with it. So it's already kind of a strong stock. NVIDIA is also making a bit of a bounce too. So you got to put things into a bit of a bucket. So Apple looking relatively strong. The futures aren't really doing much of anything off of that low. We're still hanging right off of the bottom. About 7 minutes, and we'll look at some early look imbalances. Not really expecting too much in there. And the great show, which could be talking about us, but is certainly a viewer, would like us to look at KOPN. And Adara had, here we go, short on Netflix, which I would imagine there aren't many shorts on Netflix that could have looked bad today. So I'll have a quick look at this KOPN for you. Obviously, there's a lot of small cappers out there and gappers that are going to have some moves. The first thing you want to see is volume. All of the volume on the stock just happened. All of it. This bar represents pretty much the entirety of the day on KOPN, up 8%. Bit of a habitual line stepper, move up and then come down, but it is an upward trend. You got to respect 50 and 200. If a stock's above the 50 and the 200 on the daily, then it's in a nice upward trend. You can't really argue with that. Holding the $1 level, which I'm usually a fan of, but whatever just happened on it, you get one volume spike when it was doing nothing all day. Unless it continues to sustain that volume, I don't like it for an afternoon trade. That's a big thing. Like, can it hold on to that volume, at least half of it on the way back in the next candle? If answer yes, I think it's worth it to take a look for maybe a continuation play on KOPN. But it's just a spike. I would assume usually if there's news when I see a spike like that, though I've heard absolutely nothing in my ear. I'm also realizing I haven't heard anything in my ear since the start of the show. So it could be I should refresh, because I haven't heard any news stories come through.
Mine's working, but I don't think they always. Benzinga is great, but they always do. I think they like report less in the afternoon. I feel like
I didn't hear the riot thing.
they got to get there. I have no idea. I'm too focused on. We're focused, man, on making a little bit of money. You must have got out of Apple there, so it's a nice little move there for Apple, as I just saw the price change a little bit. There it is, KOPN, so I'm hearing it right now in my ear, so it's working, at least. All right, Roblox right now, if this comes back in, it's right at VWAP and right at all that. You can consider taking some out if you do want it. We've got 10 cents right there. We've got $1. Yeah, we just had that KOPN news, but we'll get it from Adara right now.
KOPN news is actually Palantir related here. So basically what happened here is Bloomberg reporting, so it's not quite the way you might think here. It's basically Bloomberg reporting that Palantir is competing with Kopin for a $22 billion Army headset production contract. In case you didn't know, I just Googled it here. It looks like Kopin is mostly focused here on wearable technology like headsets. So this contract seems like it's much more in Kopin's oeuvre than it would be in Palantir's. So keep an eye here in KOPN and PLTR, guys.
Right, yeah. I mean, obviously, it's going to be better for them than it is for Palantir, because Palantir's not going to care.
I'm not afraid of no Copan.
No, that's what I'm saying.
At
Like,
the end
it
of the
doesn't.
day, I mean, I don't know about the technology. If they've got it, they've got it. It is what
Yeah,
it
if
is.
you got it, you got it. I just always get a little bit skeptical. We've seen this before. We've seen it in the good end, like SOUN and NVIDIA. We've seen like the positives of like a long-term trend move when you're sort of riding the coattails of a big boy. And then other times you've seen it, you know, quite frankly, not matter at all. We wouldn't be able to judge that fundamentally, not without knowing a heck of a lot more. So the volume is pretty solid on it and trying to hold on to it. I don't think it can be something, but I'm not getting that too excited about the name. 6 million shares for what I would group as a penny stock. I mean, I would group it, it's over $1, but I group it as a penny stock. When I looked at it the first time, it actually had a 2 or 3 cent spread at times. Now it's cleaned up to a 1 cent spread, which is what you should see. But that volume, like I said, I wanted the volume to hold up. Already dropped in more than half of the volume on the second bar and then continuing a little bit lower, which is not what I would like to see overall. But yeah, still a little bit of a runner here. Good luck if you've got it. So Apple's high is 223.60, despite that, my thing says 31, but 223.60. So just got some out in front of it. If it does a higher low, I would like to, like, obviously at this point, if it does a higher low, it's still also putting in lower highs. But it did hold that prior bar support level. We'll look for any dip back into 223 to try to reload.
Okay, yeah, great questions, guys. Thanks, Kyle. Yeah, it's 200 period SMA, so I just use a simple moving average. That is the green line on here right now. And guys, Roblox, pay attention if you are shorting Roblox. Right now, no, you don't have to pay attention if you don't want to. We're covering more down here as there it goes, man. We talked about, again, and this is why everybody in the chat, when we're sort of talking about trading and how we all trade and who does this, who does that, what happens here as far as trading is concerned. This is just another one of those examples right here on a live trade, which is, I hope, why you guys are watching the show. We talked about our stop here. We're short at 66.04. Our stop was 11s. That's 7 cents worth of a stop. We just got filled. I mean, first of all, we were taking fills here for 10 cents. So we're going 1-to-1. We'll always try to take something at 1-to-1. But then right there is our next out after 1-to-1 is 84s. So that puts us right there at 20 pennies, which 20 pennies, 7 cents, 3-to-1. And then there's a 75. So it just keeps on coming through for us right here on the day with some decent trades on Roblox to the downside. And then meanwhile, what's up, Ozan? You around, my guy? Oh, man, I feel like we're Joe over here. This guy's always in the club, it seems like. There it goes, man. Tesla's now, Neil, not $1, but $2 right now in the money. So as some stocks, will move quite violently and others will not. Seems like Tesla right now is one of them right there for you. So far here tonight, this afternoon, since we've been talking, it's been Roblox. So that's 30, 40 cents there if you shorted it with me. And then if you shorted this with me, and I know that we all could have gone short because Neil was talking about Tesla there. And then when it threw over to me, I was like, well, I kind of like the short. We went short right there. We could have reloaded it. Again, we were already sort of playing with house money, didn't want it to go back up. We always had our stop there, so there goes Tesla right back in. We don't have, again, we have about a little less than 10% left on this position as we only have 25 minutes to go, or 30 minutes to go on the day, 20 minutes to go until the imbalances come out. So far, so good. RGTI, people want to look at. We talked about, on the sticky note, I haven't looked at this in a minute, but that's yesterday's. Right here, we had written down 12.50 for a long. Now, I was bidding 12.65 on this name, and I canceled it when we had to do some of the recordings. There it goes. It's okay. So our 12.50 was pretty darn close, man. It gets into 12.75. So okay, fine. We don't have the trade, which is fine by me. But at the end of the day, we didn't have it anyways. It didn't come into our level, but we like 12.50 there on Rigetti. It didn't come in. Nice move. Now ending the day relatively flat. So I don't know if I'd trade it now. It's 3:30. The volume down here, it might pick up here into the close. Great volume off the open for RGTI. That's when really the moves were happening. And then I think we nailed it with our 12.50 level. It's just, it got there within 25 cents. Like, we called 12.50, man, when this stock was up at 14.80. So that's a nice $2 move down. So we call about 200 pennies. We just missed the last 15. So we'll see if it hits that again. I'm going to look at 12.50 tomorrow for RGTI. And again, where we like that level, I believe it must have been the 200 period, and this would be on the 5-minute chart for Kyle and everybody else, but it's still a simple moving average. And I was just looking at that off the open because the 1-minute chart off the open is fine, but I don't really use it. Not enough sort of consistency with that. I'll go for a little bit of a longer time frame, but and there's Tesla. We were just talking about it being $2, and there it rips right back up again. So yeah, maybe we'll get out another piece here. Tesla's been pretty wild. I'm going to put one more bid down here at 418. If we get it, we get it. If not, let's just stop out. We were always going to stop out at VWAP, but I'm going to use the 200 period now. 419.90. Okay, well, here it comes back in. Cancel the bids now on that. Let's see if it falls into the close. Maybe we've got one, man. We've got Roblox 20 cents and Tesla $1.50. So far, so good. If we break that bottom, where do we go on Tesla? Let's put a bid right here. What is that level? Okay, 417. Oh, we're almost there right now. Okay, Tesla 417, Neil, for $3. Let's see if we can get it. Tesla down there at 417. We'll put a bid and see if we get it. Hey, if you don't put bids out, you don't get fills.
So we've been heard. Okay, I guess I saw some questions about First Solar. We'll make sure we get to that, but we're supposed to go to the desk. We got to get to Adara for a second.
Yeah, really quickly here, not to interrupt, from First Solar. This is our Palantir earnings graphic here from TTV Research, and this is quite the story of growth here. So I want to shout out to Sean here. Look at this Palantir growth. We've got the Palantir green revenue, a steady incline. Their GAAP earnings per share are actually pretty rough. Their first quarter, they lost nearly $1 a share, but now steadily to the upside here. And it's been positive for at least the last couple quarters. So this is every single Palantir earnings report, starting with their first report, Q3 2020 up to the most recent Q3 2024. We have a couple weeks until their report, but this is the history in its entirety of Palantir earnings, guys. I had a lot of fun working on this one. Make sure to like and subscribe.
You could probably look to that first earnings report when you make a profit for the first time. Like, that's a really good jump off spot. I remember when Uber. Yep. The crazy thing about Uber, and I know that was just about Palantir. The crazy thing about Uber, there was a point in Uber's early on where they lost more money. Obviously, things just get bigger as the money supply gets bigger, so the numbers always get bigger and not smaller. But they had lost more money than any IPO in history cumulatively in terms of losses, and then they turn a profit. It's a great stock. The stocks that are getting roasted right now, First Solar, it made another low today. It's down 5%. We got a lot of questions about it on the way down. Didn't trade it, but it's setting up. It is what it is. Like, this stock is this. The trend is your friend till the end. If it does bend, great. But for now, maybe 170 was your last little ditch effort there, but 172 change, which is just almost here right now, would be a bit of a triple bottom, now a triple bottom, and this could absolutely bleed. You've just seen so much pressure on all of the solar names, how many times in the aftermarket show, which I'm sure when we go over the ETFs, I feel like while we get excited about all the green that we see, it just never seems to apply to tan. You know, it's just bleeding to the downside. Let it make a bottom before you try to guess at where the bottom might be, because it's a good way to get yourself hurt. It is one thing buying dips into an upward trending quality stock. It is another thing to try to catch a falling knife in something which has been trending down for a while. So unfortunately, the time is not now. At least, unless you want to get, like I said, unless you want to guess at it, you can guess that the solar names are good. And the other side was a lot of people were looking for that to get a bump on the election. It's like, okay, well, maybe it might have gone that way. And if you put a bet on before the election and it went your way, great. But when it doesn't, you've seen the end result of it. Energy names are going strong, but the solar names are under a tremendous amount of pressure. And with rates not coming down this year as fast as we thought, that's another thing that's not going to bode well because it's very capital intensive for them. So unfortunately, not the best look over there and for solar. So you got back into the high on Apple, but it's just kind of going sideways here. I did have a quick gander at the early look imbalances. It was like XOM. And yeah, actually it was XOM and something else, and now it's just XOM. So one name over 1 million shares, just ExxonMobil, 1.1 million. It could change in the next 15 minutes when they come out. But the way I see it on Apple, like we got this trend up into the high of the day. If it can't hold on to that support, I don't know if there's going to be enough time for it to give a reload at 223. If it gets back down there, it's probably 350 or getting close to 350. And Apple's exactly the kind of name I don't want to be getting into position before the imbalances. You'd rather be holding on to it.
What's up, Max? See you on the flip side, my guy. There it is right there. Make sure you like and subscribe because we just gave you
another one.
There's Tesla, man. We just talked about this trade, and there it goes right down to the downside. So we go like this. Trade smarter, not harder. Upgrade to an elite trading experience. Analyze, strategize, capitalize. Foresee profitable opportunities with the platform of your needs. It's infinite data. It's instant trading. Know where the market is moving before others with lightning fast data. Charts that change the game. Customizable. Analyze markets faster. Your way. There's better backtesting. There's scanning. There's predictions. Predict the future by understanding the past. Reliable real-time data. Up to the second market info from hundreds of global markets. Everything you need all in one place. Don't miss a beat. Execute your best trades now. Scan the QR code and check out the link in the description. It's eSignal, baby. All right, back to trading. Roblox right here just continues to make that move down in for Roblox, for Tesla. Tesla right now, $3, trying to go even lower right now into this depths of hell. Right now goes Roblox. We talked about this trade. We talked about, underneath was short today. If we're going to look for a short, we wanted to pick on Tesla a little bit. It made sense to us. Yesterday we lost long. Today we say net pas, put it back in on the short there for Tesla. Nice downside push right there as it continues to move for us on Tesla. The banger of the afternoon is right here, man. It's a dollar club a couple times as Tesla makes that move in, as we have a good time here as that moves into the depths of hell goes Tesla. That, of course, is the gates of hell. And it's trying to enter it a little bit.
Thing.
Yeah, sort of. We do have, I guess that's true.
They're both figures of speech.
Yeah, exactly. Just like looking that gift horse in the mouth. And we don't look too many gift horses in the mouth today, as this just tops it off, man. It's going to be a monster day right there. We've gone 6 for 6 here. Everything's been working out. And look, sometimes you'd have those days. And it's just been, pretty good on that front. Just speaking for myself, of course. What's up, David? We got a little bit of a super chat here. Let's have a quick look at this. Rate cuts not happening until July, correct? Best to all. Tesla can't let go of 420, but should close at 415.
Another one.
Give you props up, David, right there. You're with me, man. You got that horse sense, my guy. Shout out to Jim Cramer as well. What's up, Ian Rispetto? Here's another $10 move. Was looking at a possible long entry for MongoDB. Good one. It's way down from its highs, and most analysis has it at $300 plus. Forget about what everybody else has stocks at. People out there upgrading, downgrading stocks know a hell of a lot less than you think they do. Dan Ives also said, again, Dan Ives loved Apple. That moved down 15%. You never know what's going to happen. Dan Ives also said that it would be a software stock to watch out for yesterday. Okay. I mean, yeah, that's the thing. And what I mean by that is, you know, you got to take everything with a grain of salt and make sure that you look at your own opportunities and your time frame and what you believe for the stock. There could be many bulls out there on every, you know, like when Apple goes down, everybody goes, told you Apple was going down. When Apple goes up, told you. So it's like you got to be responsible enough to pull the trigger on levels that you like and reasons on why, right? Like, I've been buying Palantir. I mean, I have the hat. We've been buying it since the direct list down there at $9, you know, and believing in the stock. So if you believe in MongoDB, I mean, software as a service, I don't really even know what they do. If you believe in that, then go for it, man. I mean, I was buying Snowflake on dips. I've been buying Palantir. We're hecka long many things. I looked at Netflix. Today, we're over 300% in the money on that stock as well. It's just like, these kind of things, it's if you believe in names and you have a higher time frame, I think the macro story will always win. You know, like we have these CMTs on and we love them, but I just take them with sort of with a grain of salt as well. Because we've had Michael Noss come on a Monday and say buy crypto, and then on a Friday say sell crypto. So it's all about like what your time frame is, how active of a trader you are. But that MongoDB, I mean, I would say if you can get above, and thanks Ian for that. If you can get above this 280 or so, I think that's great. You know, it's one thing to like a stock, it's another thing to make a call and stand by it. So I think, you know, put your money in there. Like I'm still long CrowdStrike. There's some moves that had, there's some names that had moves down that you're able to pick up on great valuations, Caterpillar, and great names that will be there for a very long time. So if MongoDB is one of those names, it's kind of like when Meta, everybody, went down to $100. And I say shout out to Sharif because, you know, he'll stamp this. He was sitting there and he always tells me, man, he remembers when I was literally pounding the table about Meta down here, sub $20, sub 20 on the PE, right into here. And I'm just like, guys, we're buying Meta, we're buying Meta, we're buying Meta. It's been like life-changing money there on the retirement side for Meta to be able to buy that and to buy Palantir. So Ian, man, if you like it, again, depending on what it is, it's why I say Palantir still has a double in it this year and more. I believe in the stock, I believe in the space, and I'm here trying to make a difference. So thank you for all of that. And you know, you're welcome, Silverado. I mean, this is what we're here for, man. I love it when people are saying, and thank you, the knowledge, thank you for that. And again, this is real-time knowledge, I hope, for you guys as well. And you're welcome, Marty, for the show. I think it's been one of our best ones because the truth is here. And I think when you ask for the truth and you get the truth, that's always the best. And wait, one more before I throw it back to Neil. There it is, Silverado Blue. You are welcome for that, but I give props up to you because not everybody takes winning trades. You did take that one on Tesla. Yesterday, we lost on Tesla. It was a little more stressful than wins yesterday, but we come back, we put it back in the pocket now today, and today again, you know, we go from yesterday being red to today, the trophy. So we're really happy with it. You got to battle back. You got to have that mentality, and I feel like I have it. So I want to thank everybody for watching and keeping this show where it is, right? We wouldn't be here without the viewers.
100%. And the thing about Mongo, they don't make money yet, but if you only invest in, I've heard, this is not a dig on Jim Cramer whatsoever, but you do hear people, and he says it a lot, I don't like companies that don't make money yet. The problem with that is then you miss out on a lot of opportunities. Snowflake doesn't have I mean, obviously Snowflake has a ridiculous forward PE, but a lot of these companies, you know, when you don't make money yet or you try to take those shots, I own Snow, and I know it's in the same space, and I actually think Snow's starting to round into something potentially special. I took it on a daily chart move, but like I'm looking at this, it's now hugging on the weekly chart, the 200 period moving average. And the question I'm asking myself, because I took it as a trade into the 200 period moving average and held on to a third for a long-term play. But if this closes on the weekly above this prior high, like that's super bullish. And like I love the marriage of technicals and fundamentals. Like I like the company. I think it has a good growth potential. But if you look at something similar on your Mongo, maybe you look for something on the chart that gives you an entry that you're comfortable with because you're not sure when to get into the company that doesn't make money yet. Like that could be the answer to the question as well. But in that space, you know, like I own one, and I like what Snowflake has been doing. Just going to quickly over Apple broke that prior support level, so we'll jump out. It is 5 minutes to the imbalances, so whether or not we're able to get a pull, it's a little bit too late for it, I think, at this point. So you got to be a little bit patient for sure. Will trade for food again. Think of the people investing $1,000 into Nvidia in 1999. Like, I'm not saying Snowflake or Mongo is going to do that for you, but it's along those same lines. At sometimes you've got to be willing to buy a stock. Like I whined and griped about owning SoFi at 7 because I was like, at the time, I remember thinking we had talked about it versus Robinhood in particular, and I got, you get mad at yourself over that, but ultimately SoFi has worked out fine. And you've got to have some of these names a little bit early if you're going to take some shots at them. Like I consider it easy, like it's easy to buy Caterpillar off a 200 period moving average or a 50 period moving average. There's probably not going to be disaster in that for you, but it gives you the chance to own things like a Snow or or a Mongo that's not making any money just yet. And Andrew Brown about valuations, asking about Palantir. ARM's valuation is completely insane. Amazon was always an insane valuation for years and years and years, but if you only go based on that, at some point you have to like the company too. And you believe that they're going to have the growth to be able to grow into it. I happen to think ARM will. Reasonable metrics would tell you that it's a ridiculous investment, value-wise. But it is what it is. I still like the stock. Sometimes it just comes down to that. 3 minutes till the imbalance is still pretty much nothing going on. It's just this XOM. NVIDIA had one yesterday. I don't know whether it's going to have one today. It was $3.5 million, I want to say, to the sell side on NVIDIA. Let's just ignore VWAP here. NVIDIA's starting to pull back off the highs. If it comes out a big sell, you might see NVIDIA put on a little bit of a move. And by the way, thank you, Marty, also for saying good luck to the Buffalo Bills. This time they don't need it. It's basically they only need luck versus the refs. Everything else should be absolutely fine because I think the Chiefs are overrated.
All right. Yeah, no, I think the Bills need a lot of luck. They've never beat, obviously, Kansas City in this kind of a situation. So I would love for them to win.
Different
but,
this year.
I think they would need, it's different every year, to be honest with you. But I'm hoping that this year is the case for the Buffalo Bills. Not at home might hurt, but, that's why Kansas City is who they are. They beat the teams that they need to beat in the regular season to host this game. And, I mean, it's just like that's what it's all about. Let's hope. I don't think home has been that much. I mean, Washington went in and
beat Detroit.
That's what I was going to say. Yeah, Washington went in there and beat Detroit. So, that doesn't mean that much there. And then it was a great game on Sunday before Mark Andrews, again, hands the Buffalo Bills that victory. But the Bills would have had the ball anyways, even if he tied it up.
Field goal.
I mean, people are, hating on that drop, but,
it's a pretty nice drop.
It was a good drop. I mean, it definitely worked out. I mean, you'd rather him drop it than not. But at the end of the day, I think Josh Allen would have marched down. Conditions weren't great, but
I might have to trade for Mark Andrews in my fantasy league. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, you might have to. The Bills fans raised over $52,000 for Mark Andrews.
That's the way you do.
They did it for Andy Dalton and
Tyler Boyd, both of them.
For his cancer. I don't know if it's cancer. I don't know what it is, but it's.
The Andy Dalton threw a touchdown to Tyler Boyd, breaking our playoff streak.
But it was
when Tyrod.
Yeah, when he was with Cincinnati.
Yeah, Bills fans are really great about giving to charity.
That year, actually.
Giving to charity.
The Bills are the training team for the Patriots. Well, that's been in the past. I don't know about moving forward there right now. The Bills are a little fraudulent because of the division they were in, but at the same time, man, they have the quarterback.
Oh, I'll take it. We were in the division. We put our years in with Tom Brady. Okay, I am. And by the way, SPF. I think I am 100% a delusional Bills fan. I don't bet on sports for that reason. If every single year, if I bet on sports, I'd probably just put money down on the Bills winning the Super Bowl and the Toronto Blue Jays winning. I know myself, right? I don't mind playing fantasy stuff. I don't mind playing poker, but it's just a very different. You've got to know whether or not you're going to be rational about something. That's why I stay away. I love sports in a different type of way. I could probably bet reasonably on track and field because I look at the athletes and this person's better than the other one. But I got a team that I love, and that's my Bills. But I'm not like one of those. But when I hate on Casey, I'm not like Adara. I have no issues with the Taylor Swift thing. It's good for the NFL. My hate of Kansas City has to do with the rivalry. But when we get back to the market, just for a quick little second, BLBX. It looked like maybe it was going to make a break of that $6 level. As you can see, it has not happened. Imbalances are coming out in about 30 seconds. So any kind of a late day break of 6 on BLBX does seem like it is now come and gone. But Softy just broke and just got to its high of the day, also pulling back right into the imbalances with 20 seconds to go. But Softy's worth watching. Like if this were to give you a sell imbalance off of that high, that could be a little bit of something for a pullback. With 10 seconds till the imbalances drop in earnest, I'll have now Softy and NVIDIA up to see if we get a little something.
Yeah, our stop out right here at 418.50 right now on our last little piece here for Tesla. If it breaks up through this level, we're out as we do have these imbalances that are hitting right now.
What's that?
All right, so TLT, nice little move there. BHC, Bausch & Lomb to the downside or to the buy side as well. Amazon getting a little bit of sell side action as we go long from 233 there today. Now Amazon trying to pull back on these sell imbalances. Meta also with the sell. Look at that, whoop. Nice move down on Meta, nice move down on Google. I don't know if it's a nice move down, but it is a sell imbalance. Yeah, a little bit of a gapper right there. Let me just gapper right there and figure that out. Meta, Amazon. Meta's the one right now that's dripping, 623. This is why, like I'm saying, you could be long Meta, and then all of a sudden it's like this comes out, and it's like, whoa, got to have your stop orders in. And I want to thank everybody for watching, and thanks to everybody that was saying kind words about what we were talking about in the past, last hour, I guess. Oh, there's Cisco. I don't know why we show that, but that's a nice move down the thong song right there. We also have NVIDIA not doing much. We've seen NVIDIA with multi-millions. So 519 that much. Oh boy, there's Tesla.
Broadcom moved.
Yeah, bro. Oh yeah, I didn't even notice Broadcom up there. What? I just went to Bausch & Lomb and even passed that.
That dropped
one.
a couple bucks.
Yeah, boom. Look at that. Gapping lower. Our charts will fill out once that is done. But there it is, man. 243 down. No, you know what? That wasn't even there was a bigger move that I was just on down here that gapped lower. Wasn't Tesla. Anyways, was it Meta that went? Yeah, it must have been Meta. Meta, I think. But Meta is a $600 name. But anyways, that would BRX. Oh, there it is, Meta. Yeah, so Meta, I guess, once it came out, 25s down to 23s. Yeah, so a nice little $2 move there. So a couple of examples right there of why you want to watch out for some of these imbalances, and we're actually going to have a lesson coming out pretty soon about all of these things. There goes the move to the downside. And then also Roblox. I mean, I don't know. I guess we'll pay for some Robux here with the kids, but we are starting to go to the downside here on Roblox just a little bit now. So let's watch out for that. Roblox now 12 cents. Not really doing much, but it is down into that VWAP. So that would be a level for me to look at as well. All right, that's about it for me for right now. Big day alert, obviously. And we're going to watch out here for Roblox. Maybe just punch a little. There we go. We punch a little bit out here at 90.91s. And then we'll just get going from there. But Roblox, not bad today. Nice little way to top off the day and end it like that. Now Tesla, Neil. $4. You guys can follow me. We posted this up. There it is, man. I don't know if you have, I know you've traded some busy names, but I don't know if you have $4 winner on today or not, but there goes Tesla. We just put this on in just the last hour, and there goes pay dirt again. Look, man, sometimes you don't get this move. Sometimes it goes the other way. The imbalances come south side right there. And I was just going short. We talked about it. I hope you guys avoided some of the longs there. But there's the move down on Tesla, right back into day's low. And guys, we did it again. Like some people, I always get messages all the time on Twitter, and they're very kind, but everyone wants to see us do it again and again. It's hard to do it again and again and again, but we're here. We're going to take it out right there. There's a $5 winner for you right there at the end of the day. So we'll put that chicken dinner winner in the bank and just top it off right there. Tesla goes to P&L number 3 for the show period there today on that play. So far, so good there into the close. So pretty good day over here. What's going on with you over there, Neil?
Yeah, actually, I almost punched in the Bausch & Lomb there, but it paired off very, very quickly. That was BHC. 5 million to the buy side. And just to give you an idea what it looks like and why you should we show you guys the locator and why, if you're trading off of it, you want to pay attention. As you can see, it's no longer there for that massive buy order. This is what happens. The second that paired off, right back in to VWAP. It was churning and looking like it was going to be a potential breakout. I checked, there was no index action on it. Obviously, just going to give you back over to one thing, because actually something we're saying is, speaking of videos that we're going to have coming out, we're going to have some stuff on imbalances and stuff for everyone to look at. The closing price and how things close is, I think, more important than how they open. The NASDAQ pullback, sell imbalances, you see Tesla absolutely flushing. I'm going to make a mental note. Obviously, I didn't see Apple with a buy or sell imbalance, and I've checked to see if there was something to revert. But Apple just broke the high of the day, with the market doing pretty much nothing but sell just now. But it is 355. That's when you get a lot of those imbalance flips. Amazon, which is another one that we got to be paying attention to. Remember, it's an all-time high break there for another chart there. An all-time high break for Amazon, and you actually had this gap up as well on the imbalance. It's going to end up closing near its highs. So I think going back to the well, I'll still be looking at a continuation play for Amazon tomorrow, barring some kind of a crazy gap down overnight. Anything can happen. Like, I'm not going to, who knows? News could come out overnight. I have absolutely no idea. But if as long as we're above that prior high, I want continuations on Amazon, and I'm looking long on Apple. I think Apple has done a lot of, has done a lot of bad in terms of pulling back, but the 200-period bounce, the way it's ending the day today on strength when everything else is weak, I think makes a lot of sense to look for some long opportunities there. Obviously Google is one to watch. I see in the chat people always ask about, I think it's one of those types of names. Why don't I like it? It's got a clear overhead resistance. Like Google, you can see, everybody can see what's happening at $200. And it's sometimes a little bit more exciting when it breaks out to 202 as opposed to trying to figure out where the bottom is going to be on Google. So continuations on Apple and Amazon, I think, are primed tomorrow. Pun absolutely intended. But we do have a couple of earnings names after the bell. We're going to have Alcoa. They're not that big, so we're going to get a chance, answer some questions with you, with Adara, anything you want to talk about. There's a couple of sectors we didn't really dig into that I do want to jump into that I know we're going to be on that board, and certainly talk a little bit about crypto and the malaise that it's been in with this 105 level for sure. So I'll see you guys up at the desk in a couple of seconds. But strong day today. No questions asked. There's so many good. Uber's another chart that we could get into before their earnings. But I know that's one thing that you're in. I didn't do anything with that. I held on to my Uber shares, didn't buy the dip. And I'm kind of ho-hum because I really like Tesla as like my play, robotaxi autonomous in there. And it's like, I've been doing a lot of consolidation of, do I want to own this and that when I can just own this, like Netflix, Disney? And that's how I kind of feel about Uber. Do I need to own it? Or should I just be in something else for more? But, that's another question for another time.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, good show there. We, again, like, there's the out on Tesla. Like, I don't, sometimes when it works, and it seems like, thank you, Adam, as you were here, and you know, right? You were here, you saw everything, This is just like, Tesla came right into our spot again, and there it is. These trades, like, they're actually here, and that's, this is what we're doing every single day, and I feel very humbled sometimes by this trading, and I know it seems like I'm always talking about all these winners. I mean, I throw it back, we're talking about our trades, our winners, our losers. It's just on a day when it works out, it is going to be sort of littered with good talk about winning trades. And unfortunately, that's what that's what it was today. And, if everybody's positive out there, great. If you're negative, hopefully not too much. And, we'll be back tomorrow. All right, with 2 minutes to go, let's find out. We do have AA into the close for earnings. You know what? Forget it, it's not moving. Let me check out what Netflix did today. We called this yesterday. We got some super chats yesterday, and I was like, I like Netflix on earnings. But again, look where it comes in, just at its expected move. So Netflix all day today, no matter what you think about earnings, someone said off the jump, should I sell Netflix or what am I doing with Netflix there? And it was like, well, if levels break, right? We actually got a question as well about what about pre-market levels? Well, that would be a good indication right there to get out if a pre-market level breaks. I think that's something that you got to do better on. You got to figure out what levels. Yo, Fabian, how's it going, my guy? It's hot, eh? It's really hot in that room. It's funny that we're recording some videos, and we're in this. You guys know the podcast room, and Brendan and I nailed some podcast. I mean, I think we should. You guys want us to bring podcasts back? I mean, what about Randy and I just chilling out, talking some stuff, sitting down, talking, all of us just hanging out, chilling out. You guys want to put a podcast back out? And who would you like to see on the podcast? Which hosts? All of us, things like that. Fabian, you want to go at the podcast with me, my guy? I think that'd be fun. Ramin, No, Ramin's not. She works too much. She doesn't want to do the podcast. Okay, with only now 30 seconds left, Daryl probably want to do a podcast. Here we go with only 30 seconds now. The podcast got scrapped. We just started working on other things, and eventually we'll bring it back. Maybe not. Back by popular demand. That's what we do around here. And hopefully you guys have been enjoying the show. I told you we're bringing some more educational information and opportunities for everybody very, very soon. So there's the countdown right now. With only 10 seconds left, it's been a good day. This bell brought to you by Trader TV Live. Join us for the market recap show in just a couple seconds. And that is it. Get your orders canceled. I guess I don't have to worry about my stop order for Tesla, as that did not fill. At the end of the day, Tesla had that huge move down to $4.15. We just took a $5 winner right there, right at the end. So that turned out to be a decent trade. So again, thank you so much to everybody. Thank you to Bears vs. Bulls. Thank you to Fabian. Thank you to Ramin. Thank you to our friends Tomash. Thank you to Brendan in the back there. Fabian, I already said that twice for you, Fabian. Joe, Sharif, thank you so much. Andre, my guy over there as well. And a big shout out to Bears vs. Bulls and everybody that has anything to do with this program. We want to thank you. I want to give a big shout out to Raheem Alani for joining us from very uncomfortable conditions there. So I want to thank Raheem Alani for doing that as well. And then the most important thanks goes to all of you. We can't do this show. Well, we could do the show without you, but it just wouldn't be as fun. So I want to thank everybody for joining. And again, there it is, Bears vs. Bulls. Thank you so much for all of that. It was a very good day. We battled back. That is for sure. So, all right. Yeah, Raheem was looking smooth, Bears vs. Bulls. You got that right. And maybe now he's getting that little massage after that swim. Thank you, Raheem Alani, for coming through. All right, look, it's Thursday. We do it all again tomorrow. Apparently tomorrow is wing day because Randy will not be here on Friday. So join us tomorrow during the midday where we'll make sure that we get some wing action happening. So without any further ado, out of here and over there, it's Market Recap Show. I'll see you tomorrow.
We're getting wings?
We're getting wings tomorrow. So I was just mentioning, maybe when we do the wings tomorrow for everybody, you probably don't want the atomic wings of Dare. I'm just going to throw that out there. You're welcome to try. I think it's, I don't think they'll be very hot. Whatever, man. Wingstop, their hottest wing is not that big of a deal. But what is, and it's deceiving, what is hot, obviously, is Netflix. Netflix, the big earnings name from yesterday, up 9.5%. Although, when you look at the day trading action, it was a down stock today from the open. So a big gap up for Netflix. It was all about the subscriber. It was all about the price raise. But a little bit of disappointment unless you were shorting it on the day trading side. We do have KMI at 405. We were expecting it to come through Alcoa at 425. It's not a huge earnings day. I think in earnest, Adara, next week, things start to get a little bit hot and heated when it comes to earnings, a little bit more next week. But Netflix, let's just say it was a great start to the session for Netflix because when you sat down, you were holding on to almost all of that move overnight. It was just chilling out there right around that $1,000 mark. And it let go, and it never came back. This is exactly the situation when people talk about the 3-day rule or something that's gapped really far. Allow the market to make a reaction, see what they want to do, and then go from there. So I don't think necessarily I'm convinced that Netflix, because it hit 950, it's got a bit of a bottom on it. But there were shorting opportunities, to be sure.
There were, and I'm going to be honest here. I actually came at Netflix assuming that it would probably sell off at some point. Now, that is because obviously not always are investors or traders going to care about earnings. But here's the thing. Netflix had a stellar report. I will not begrudge Netflix's stellar report, but I will begrudge its horrible guidance for Q1 2025 because that was really bad. They missed their earnings per share by like 40 cents. They missed their revenue. Like that Q1 guide was a miss from top to bottom. And so to me, I was like, there has to be some change in sentiment. I see this 15-minute chart heading into the open. I was like, maybe it's clearer on the 3, but the point is, like, we were ranging, but we were kind of trying to break that range. So I was like, okay, we get there. We bounce off that 960s. I tried to short this 985. I gave it, and to be clear, very small size, risked appropriately, gave it to like 989 22s because that was that high in the 15-minute chart. Basically what I was doing is I was using the 15-minute reaction bars from the earnings night to kind of gauge reaction because it was weirdly respectful of some of those 15-minute top and bottoms on TradingView. So I was like, that's pretty interesting. I'll respect that. Anyways, That didn't work. Clearly, it did end up dropping. I was not able to get back in. Tried to get back in at 960s. I literally got wicked out. And if you look at TradingView, because they will tell you the exact wicks, I got top wick with slippage. And it never got below that point. So I was like, you know what? Sometimes your idea is right. Something's wrong in your execution. I would not have moved my stop for, honestly, either trade. Maybe I could have been more charitable with the first trade, but I stand by this stop for the second trade. I'm going to take a long, hard look at, hey, where should these stops be placed? I guess I'm going to take a short, hard look, maybe, pun, at where we place these stops, because I think the ideas are right, and it's just hard to kind of, you don't want to force yourself into a trade, but you want to make sure that you're giving each trade enough room to breathe, because if that 985 had ended up holding, that would have been just the trade of the day, right? So
yeah, like it always cuts both ways. If you make a high of the day stop out or a low of the day stop out, you made a decision at the right price. It's just, I've been there before. Like, it's just the wrong decision. It's like the same. It's like the flip of a coin, or like one level, like you miss it by a couple cents. If it holds by a couple extra pennies, you're good. If it doesn't, you're stopped out. That's no different from like missing a bid in the morning. It's like you liked the level, you were on the bid, you just didn't get picked up, and then it kind of went without you. That's part of the game, but at least you're on the right stock and looking at it. So we do have a bit of a move here in Execure here, XCUR. They've entered into a purchase agreement with GPCR Therapeutics, so that's going to be a pretty sizable volume spike. Maybe worth a watch. It's a 21% short float here on XCUR, up 32%. If you look at it from the daily standpoint, this is a stock which is giving a lot back. Now, I don't know anything about them fundamentally, so I'm not here to tell you whether we can get back into the highs. However, this is a pretty decent mean reversion that you're now gapping up above. The 50 period sits here at $14. You had a prior support on the original dip from 30 that bounced off this 14 level. So this is one that can definitely be on radars. You never really know how the price action is going to work out in the aftermarket in terms of holding this liquidity, but a 30% short float and breaking back up a major moving average with a bit of a catalyst is exactly the kind of name that should deserve to be on some watch lists and something you're paying attention to tomorrow.
EA, this is, to my knowledge, not an earnings play, but they did release some guidance. Basically, this is their preliminary fiscal Q3 2025. Well, they're way ahead of the rest of us. Basically, they're seeing fiscal 2025 net bookings between $7 billion and $7.15 billion. That is well below their previous guidance of $7.5 to $7.8 billion. So again, to clarify, they are now guiding $7 billion to $7.15 billion. That is pretty rough here for EA. This could certainly be a stock to watch out for tomorrow, because that is a pretty artful sell-off there.
Yeah, it's not in the game with EA. And
that was better fun than mine.
You just talked about missing Kinder Morgan. They have missed on revenue, heftily missed on sales. 4.18 was the estimate. 3.99 was the number in the print. They did miss by only 1 cent on EPS, so that wasn't the worst, 32 versus 33. But KMI down 6.5 points to the downside. The expected move was only 3.7%, so this is pretty significant here. You're only expecting 3.7. You're down 6.5 on a stock which it's been healthy on the daily chart. There's been nothing wrong with this on the daily, so you are getting what seems like a hefty pullback. A continuation would set you back into this 50 period here at $28 if it does hold on to these levels. So as long as it holds on bigger than the expected moves, that's where you look for that continuation in the second day, and that could take you right into the 50 period here on KMI.
I just have some more, because we're not going to have anything else here other than Discover Financial Services at 420. AA at 425, so we may as well talk about EA, because I'm getting more from this preliminary report.
Oh, yeah.
And I just think it's worth discussing, so we're prepared for tomorrow. So again, the biggest thing here is they pretty majorly revised their fiscal 2025 net bookings guidance to the downside. Here's the other thing too. So apparently their global football, after 2 years of double-digit growth, they're now projecting it to decline by mid-single digits year over year. What about their player engagement for Dragon Age? Yes, sir, that is apparently coming in 50% below their internal expectations. Apparently, though, their Team of the Year update for FC 2025 received positive player feedback, so that's cool, but everything else is pretty bad here. It's hard to compare to estimates because there weren't any analyst estimates provided, but the fact that it missed that badly on their own internal guidance and their previous guidance, I don't want to say yucky, but it's not great. And then they said specifically the challenges in global football and Dragon Age, which were the two things I mentioned that had those decreases year over year. That's apparently why they had to lower their guidance. Again, this like I don't know, this FC25, whatever that is, seems to be decent. But yeah, this is pretty troubling here, this fiscal or preliminary fiscal 2025 guidance here, guys.
And this is not like Kinder Morgan, which is pulling back on a missed revenue and what looks like a bad report when it's at fresh highs. You know, EA is distinctly different from Kinder Morgan in that regard. I see a lot of people in the chat sort of saying how ugly it's been for this stock. It's flat bottom breaking. It was already pulled back 15% from the top. So it had done a hefty pullback. And now I think you're starting to get into mid last year levels potentially at 125. Like if you're preparing for tomorrow, like I would think maybe you get like an SSR bounce off the 125 because you'd be 10% down if you got to that price. That's the kind of thing you start putting in your head. You never really know what's going to happen overnight with this, but I see a lot of people saying things like, oh, when has EA even been good? And then I think back to, man, like I'm not a video game person, but I used to play EA Sports. It's in the game. Like I remember when they were actually good and maybe not the big jam. And I do, for those I saw in the chat, Kyle Burdett, you letting your 7-year-old play video games, I am not letting any of my kids get into games. So I will say it's actually, this is like weird farm game thing that my daughter plays, but she has Roblox, and she's into Minecraft. My daughter wants to be an engineer. That's her thing right now.
Really cool.
So when she goes into Minecraft, she just loves building. She'll build. She loves roller coasters. We love going to Canada's Wonderland, so she wants to build them. That's her current thing.
Amazing.
Engineer, so she can make roller coasters, and so she'll build them in Minecraft. And it's just extravagant, fantastic stuff. She loves creating. She got Roblox for Christmas. She's already made a couple of those, whatever the heck they call them, little rooms that you play the games in Roblox. So yeah, I think
that's really neat.
I'm not a gamer myself. I played when I was younger, but I think there's a place for it. I think you learn hand-eye coordination can be good. You can definitely learn critical thinking skills. You can learn to build and create, which is all good from a creative standpoint. That said, like anything else, I think you can get a little bit too much. It can be a bad influence if it takes away from other things in life. So as a parent, you got to make those judgments yourself. I look at what my daughter's excitement level is for science, for engineering, since she started playing Minecraft. I'm like, well, it's been nothing but a positive influence. She also loves her Duolingo, which she considers playing a game.
You told me that was really fun for her.
Love that stock. That's a name that I would consider for sure. And then thank you for the look there, Zanky, in the chat. Get her Planet Coaster too. She would love that for sure. But like we said, back to EA Sports, which it's still bleeding. There was a bounce off. There is, I should say, a bounce off this 130 level. So it's got some time to maybe pick up a bit if they can find something they like about it. Here it is a decently shorted name. Three days to cover on 3% short float. But this Kinder Morgan, I think this takes the cake over Kinder Morgan because KMI, for now, has pulled almost all the way back.
Really?
Like you've gotten right back into 30-50 on KMI. And I think some of this is the difference between a stock that's in a downward trend that gets a dip on bad earnings like EA and KMI, which is a stock in a very distinct upward trend, which is getting a little bit of a pullback.
Yeah.
The stocks in the upward trends, spoiler alert, everybody, there are people looking to buy the dip on an upward trending stock. That's just how it is. And in the case of EA, maybe people are a little bit more reluctant to buy, especially after those preliminary numbers that you just put out there. You can't really like it. Those are...
Nah.
I'm looking at it and double taking myself, like 25% off.
I gasped.
25% off
yucky.
On that revenue, 2.5 to 1.88 is... those are ugly numbers for EA. And sometimes you just let it give it a beat a second. Maybe this is as bad as it gets. We've seen the story before where a company comes out with leading, terrible indicated earnings, and then sometimes that's a bit of a bottom.
Yeah.
It's like, well, let's just get it all out because we know it's going to be bad. By the time their earnings have rolled around in earnest, then you've made a little bit of a bottom here. But ugly look for EA. I'm going to quickly transition from that. I know we still have Alcoa, but that's a little bit later on in the session. Didn't really go over the broad market and what is strong and what is weak. It was a really funky day for energy, everybody. TAN got beat down, and we hinted at some of the weakness in some of the oil names. You can see XLE with a bit of a pullback, but a huge move up today for URA that it really didn't hold on to well at the end, but a good trend up day for URA. If you're watching uranium names, SMR, I mean, some of the smaller, like the new scales of the world, like this one, not good, but I'm telling you that Vistra, GEV did fantastic, Constellation, the big boys, like, and I don't know they're utility plays, but like they're also big in nuclear utility. And those three names, absolute powerhouses today, absolutely carrying the space up.
Yeah, it's interesting though because VST actually like sold off a little bit at the open and then bounced a bit. AA though actually came in a little bit earlier than expected. Thank you, Darwin, in the chat for letting us know about this. So they did report here $3.5 billion in revenue. And again, I always want to clarify, sometimes the estimates I'm seeing are not the same as the general estimates. That's the hard thing with estimates. But they reported $3.5 billion in revenue compared to $3.38 billion, which is what I'm seeing as the estimate. That would be a beat. It's also up 20% on a quarterly basis, so quarter over quarter. Let's see what these net earnings per share are. 76 cents per common share was what they reported. I was seeing an estimate of 91 cents per share, but sometimes those are adjusted, so I want to be very careful with that. Apparently their alumina production decreased 2% quarter over quarter. That's kind of a mixed report here for AA. I want to wait until I see everything to give you guys, but it sounds like they beat on revenue. Great. Clearly people responding positively. They're up about 6%. Clearly. Also here, AST Space Mobile. This is ASTIS, as we used to call it. They're apparently here planning a $400 million private offering of convertible senior notes due 2032. So ASTS here offering to the downside. ASTIS, as we know, one that can rally. How many times do you remember Sharif saying that, like for a couple days? So ASTS certainly can move. Keep an eye on ASTS.
Yeah, so I would not be surprised on ASTS. Like you look at that raise and you look at it down here at $20. I would not be surprised if there's a couple of hedge funds out there that are making some bank on this short. I think you'll probably get what I'm getting at here. Look at what happened at $30, a lower high, and look at what happened ever since it pulled back. 30 brick wall, and then every single subsequent pop has been gold holding resistance levels on ASTS, and then sort of culminating with this bad news down, retesting 20. Like, look at this. If you see a pattern like this, it's hard not to. The only thing you can do as a day trader, or one of the only things you can do, is wait for your chance to short it. When it does a pop either into 30 or into this 50-period moving average here on ASTS, so 13% down. Hey, you know what? Sometimes this happens and you get a temporary bottom, but that's been downward trending for a while here on ASTS. And for the record, Damian Olivares, I can tell you with 100% certainty, what's it called? Many traders, oftentimes, there's a real name to the company and there's a ticker.
Remember Kraken too? That Crown Electrokinetic that Sharif and I called Kraken. You just realize its name.
You just sometimes got to make it short. Like, what are you trading today?
Kraken.
ASTIS.
Yeah.
ASTS. That's what people would start calling it. Right. Same way you might say Softy instead of Microsoft. It speaks for itself, but actually really good still reaction to Alcoa here. It is holding some of these highs above 40. So good luck for them. Nasty for EA. Not great for KMI. And unfortunate for anyone that's in ASTS. But that's par for the course. It's been downtrending for a while. You can see that in the chart.
Yeah, and the thing is too, so AA, like I said, sometimes these earnings per shares come out a little bit different than what I initially see. So yeah, that is correct. Their adjusted earnings per share were a beat, $1.04 versus 97 cents expected. Sales still a beat here, 9.486 billion versus 3.486 billion versus 3.339 billion expected. CRM also, I mentioned, got a little bit of a pop here. Apparently set to invest $500 in Argentina over the next 5 years, as reported by Bloomberg. SQL Lapera asking where I can find more info about that story. She's reported by Bloomberg, which is usually under a paywall, so unfortunately, it'll be a little bit hard for me to find anything right now, especially as it just came out. Probably by tomorrow, there should be some more sources if it's up enough with volume. This might even be on the watch list. I can't promise anything because I almost always go off of volume unless the name is big enough. So we'll see what happens there for CRM. But if I do see anything, SQL Lapera, I will share it. I highly doubt it will be tonight, fortunately, just because I don't think it'll be coming out anywhere but Bloomberg.
Yeah, and that's sort of the thing. When you're and a fantastic job you always do on the watch list. When you're cultivating that list, you've got to have a separator, and volume oftentimes is one. Like there's some names that are reporting here today that I would not expect are going to be big trades. Like we have HXL that just reported. You've got PLXS. These are real companies. A $5 billion company here. They're to the downside. That PLXS, not much of a trading vehicle as well. So when I look at Plexus here. And that's I'm not making up a short form. That's the actual name of the company. You're down $10. It's a $170 stock. It's a $4 billion company. But this is not going to do the type of volume that we're interested in. Now, on the flip side of that, EA 100%. Like down, if it had held down double digits or getting close to double digits, I think even better. It's just a little more volatility. This is the kind of name, a little bit bigger. It's a $35 billion company, so 7 or 8 times the size of the names we were just talking about. But I know this is going to be able to give us some juice to trade in tomorrow. It doesn't mean you have to take trades on it, but you've got to be able to lump them in there for sure. Nick W., thank you for the super chat. Appreciate you. Hey, guys. You have a large swing leap call that you bought in CRISPR. Can we give your thoughts? First, I'm going to hit the like for you there. And correct me if I'm wrong, isn't that a Kathy Wood name there? So CRISPR, like all these genomics names, generally speaking, they've been downward trending. Good news is, let me just get this out of the way for you. The good news is you're buying it off an established low. So, from the middle of 2022 to the middle of last year, or the end of 2023, sorry, and then right at the end of the year again into now, you have been bouncing off of about $37 to $40. That's the good news. At least you bought it off of support. It's pulling into, I've said this a million times, so I know you're probably tired of hearing it. I am usually more interested in this kind of a bottom on a daily, and then a rounded bottom here, and then a breakout of this level. Right? So the 50 period, which is prior resistance, there's your little W, break and close above there. I like long trades from here to, like up here, where I can stop it out right at they say the 40 level. So you close at 46 or something like that, maybe next week. And then I get the confirmation that you're holding the 50 period moving average or that prior support level. And then I usually like it. But buying off the low, usually you have the low as you're out. I like the confirmation better on a downward trending stock than trying to pick that bottom. Because there's other times that it's looked like it was going. You could have had this trade into here, but if you didn't take it at 60, good luck. I think that's exactly the kind of name you grip a little profit if it gets into the 50 to 60 area and then see where it can go. The 23% short float and the 10 days to cover are going to help you if it starts going. That's why I don't mind joining the move when you've got some confirmation, or you have some shorts actually start to cover. At this point, the shorts really need to be covering yet. They're not under that much pressure, but I like the look there, Nick. Thank you for the super chat for sure. It's been getting beaten up for a while, this stock, but that days to cover at 10.5, that's a pretty big number.
Yeah, I think the thing too here is CRSP was actually in the move today because apparently RFK Jr. is involved in it, right? So then he's going to have to divest that. I guess the idea here of governmental involvement was probably what pushed it to the upside because the actual story I was reading, which is he's going to be divesting anything biotech related before he enters the health secretary role or before he's even confirmed potentially for the health secretary role before the hearings, just I guess to avoid conflicts of interest. Regardless, that was what happened there. Also, I'm seeing an Oracle headline, which given the day that's out of the last few days, I would say we have to talk about right away.
Yes.
Basically here, apparently it's won a Delaware Supreme Court case upholding judgment in favor of executives here over some litigation involving its acquisition of NetSuite. There's zero actual stock reaction here. A little bit of volume potentially it looks like, but not much of a reaction. Also, Discover Financial here just came out, DFS, GAAP earnings of $5.11 per share, above estimates of $3.58. I'm not seeing sales yet for DFS, but sometimes these banks operate under different metrics. One more thing too, people were saying like, oh, what do you use, I guess, kind of for the news updates? Honestly, it is a lot of the times I'll see something moving on trade ideas or I'll see something moving on X and I'll be like, or I'll see X, someone will mention something. That's usually my starting point is either the movement or the story. Then I see if there is either a story or movement to back it up, and then I kind of build a case around it. Also, I find checking out this chat is really important too, because there's a lot of times you guys will see stocks I won't even be aware of because there's just so much going on. I have so much to be aware of. right? So I really shout out to this chat. A lot of the times, all notice stocks, you guys will mention this thing's moving, and I'm like, oh, you got to get your fingers moving and find stuff out.
Sometimes you got to keep it old school.
Yeah.
Like you can have any news source you want out there, but I've been trading a very long time. Sometimes the trading floor would act as your, hey, what's happening? What's moving today? Someone yells out a symbol. Oh my God, buy program. I'll never forget there was a buy program on 4 small caps one day. Sienna was one of them when I started. It's like my first couple of years of trading. And it was literally a program that had someone screwed up. And there was a small cap program which took 4 specific stocks. Sienna was the one I was watching. And it went like 40 to 50% up in a matter of 20, 30 minutes. The reversion was pretty cool as well. Like when the program stopped, it was obvious to see it. But there's no chance. Like back then, like there was no Twitter for anyone to say, hey, something's happening here. And I didn't have any of the fancy stuff we have now in terms of, whether you're on eSignal or Trade Ideas. Like I didn't have any of that stuff to give me some symbols that are moving on volume. Someone just yelled out because they happened to see it, and then you jump right to it. So you guys are undefeated. We have a great community out there dropping some symbols on us. And as a matter of fact, we had a few of them here. Like Tyrone Hamilton was asking about DGNX. I can see tag me in the chat about this. A little bit of a danger alert here, okay? So anytime you have, there's no data on a recent IPO first day. And it's tiny, especially tiny IPOs that do this kind of move. First day in market and you're already up over 100%. I always get a little bit cautious about these small ones. Like it's one thing if you catch the move where it goes, like it was doing nothing all day long from the time that it opened up at noon. Just nothing, sideways. They catch a bid and they start going. If you get on day one of a small issue to 100%, 125%, in this case 140%, no, I ain't trying to buy here. Like, no, the 3-day rule is in effect. You're in early, you're banking profit, you can hold for the dream. It's all well and good to sit in the money and hold it overnight. It's a very different story trying to buy this thing at $10 when you wake up tomorrow and it's at 5. And there's not a ton of liquidity on this one. So let's just be very careful about it for sure. But the IPO market, maybe this isn't the one, but I think it's going to be a fantastic IPO market this year, whether you're into Discord or SpaceX. I think both these names, everyone's been sort of waiting around for these to hit the market. I think the environment's a little bit more ripe for that this year. I tend to think it's a little bit safer day trading the bigger ones. You'll see Sean and I always involved in the bigger IPOs. These small ones are tricky, and it's a risk to reward thing. It's a matter of when it breaks a level, can you get out? And sometimes it's troubling with these, the amount of slippage that'll be involved. It's already hard enough on some of these recent IPOs to find liquidity.
I was going to rant about slippage because slippage is I've been telling this story today. Actually, I want to give Netflix a shout out because Netflix's slippage was totally reasonable. Shout out to you, Netflix. We're slippage on Netflix 50 cents, which for Netflix, I was honestly expecting way worse. Eli Lilly last week on good volume, $2 slippage. So the thing is, you have to be really cautious, and I feel like that's helped me in a way because I just size accordingly. I'll just take less size unless the trade is, and then you have to factor stuff in here, right, into the into your sizing. And even if you think something's worth a little bit more risk, that's fine. Give it more risk, but be aware you're going to be giving it even more risk with the slippage. So sorry to cut in there. Obviously that's very different than the small caps. It's almost the opposite. But as someone who also trades very slippy stuff, it's just something I always want to comment on because you can get chopped up in these markets on slippage alone.
But it's actually a perfect point because one of the best things you can do in trading is you don't necessarily have to trade small caps or thin IPOs to get the feel of how they move. You can simply trade names like Netflix, names like Eli Lilly, which have a lower level of liquidity but are still bigger cap stocks, and then will behave around key levels in a similar manner because of lack of liquidity. That is it's precisely how I eventually level up. I said this, Sean and I were talking about our trading journeys. I started out my first profitable month trading $1 to $5 stocks on the NASDAQ. And it was from that and the lessons learned trading those that I went right over and the next month, triple that on penny stocks because what I was learning on these $1 to $5 stocks, it was back then it was on crack in these penny stocks. And I was just doing really well with it because it was just I could leverage what I was learning on these names much better in the others. And I didn't have to trade the penny stocks. I jumped right in and was instantly profitable because all the same principles were holding true. So making sure that you learn lessons and can apply them on different types of symbols, different types of markets, whatever it might be. I know traders that were momentum traders in the NASDAQ, and then when crypto came, they absolutely blew up trading crypto because some of the same things worked when they transferred those skills. So, shout out to you for that. I think that's a great lesson there. Adara, just a bit of a recap. I looked down and it's 429. So just a quick recap. Obviously, KMI, not the best report, but it's almost all the way back to where it started here on Kinder Morgan, despite the bit of a miss. And they're at 3070. They were down as much as, I think, 5 or 6%. Actually, you're pulling back and almost not quite green on the day, but back to where we were when we started. I wish I could tell you the same thing for EA Sports here. That was a horrendous revenue number that they projected out there. But sometimes you do that. You get that out of the way so that by the time earnings come through, you've gotten the worst out. You know it's going to be bad. It's better just to get the medicine. EA down 8.5% and bleeding. And then ASTS with the offering, and then them dropping 10% as well. So yeah, a bit of a nasty day for a few names after the bell here today.
Quite a few names here. One thing I really want to quickly mention is two things. So Discover Financial Services, they did have a gap EPS beat. I mentioned that. They also, I'm just seeing their sales number now as well. $4.76 billion versus, $4.76 billion versus $4.46 billion expected. That would be a beat. So great job for DFS. Top line, bottom line beat. They also said here, basically, they've reported, this is just a recap of their reports. Sounds like a good look here for DFS, discovering hopefully some price action to the upside. The last time I checked. Also Paramount, not much of a reaction, but a bit of a story here. PARA entering apparently a consent agreement for a credit facility, $450 million. So PARA with his credit facility. I think that is, something I wanted to mention there as well. I think EA is almost very likely going to end up on the watch list. I think that'll be really fun. I'm dropping an anchor on that reaction, let me tell you. Because, hey, it's over $100. If that thing has spread, that's going to be a watch.
It's hard not to have EA on the watch. It's a great one. Like, Discover is up 7%, but I just feel like as a day trader, you get a little more excited for EA and the move that it has. Smokey Love did not talk about Intel today. We will talk about it tomorrow. Obi and I had a back and forth, actually, a little bit about Intel that we can get into. Really? But it is 430. Intel, it's primed to move. It's looking like it's a bit of a breakaway, either a failed break of a key level of a key resistance that it keeps jumping up and dumping down into for a continuation short, or we can actually finally take out that top and you can get going. Either way, it's definitely shaping up for a big move. I don't know if it'll be tomorrow, but I know what time it is. It's time for a little roll call action where we thank everybody in our community and get your name read live in the chat by Adara, but you got to be in the chat if you want to be part of roll call. So hit the like, hit the subscribe button because it's a subscribers only chat for everybody. Get yourself in there. Give a shout out to Ramin on the ones and twos, Fabian as well, making us look and sound good. Andre, making sure our socials are up to par and getting you those new videos out there. We're going to be shooting some more tomorrow as well that we'll be able to get out to you guys on the weekend. Big shout out to the midday. Always fun with the Playmaker poll, the Bash Brothers. We got Joey Options, and a big shout out to Sharif as well. Shout out to my main man, Sean and Brendo, of course, doing a great job. And on the news desk, keeping you informed all day long is Adara. But hey, we couldn't do it all without you guys, the viewers, and the best moderator out there, Bears versus Bulls. So I'm going to give a thank you to Bears versus Bulls and leave roll call to Adara.
Thank you very much, Bears versus Bulls, for everything you do. Rubicon asking me to mention them, so I'll mention you, Rubicon. Shout out to Neil. Shout out to Sean, Brendan, Sharif, Joe. We have Andre. We have Fabian. We have Ramin. And we've got Obi still in the back. Shout out to Obi there. Oh, boy. Everybody here. The Piper, Robert Fraccia, Oliver Katsaros, Los Pollos Hermanos, Trainbox, Smokey Love, Streamlabs, I'll always shout you out. We, Cansado, Smokey Love, The Poor Robin Hood. We have Jarrett Miller, Bonkzilla, Escape Planet, Aman Bhutani, Nick W, Calla Lilies, I love that. John Von Sowers, Day Trader Cut, Christopher Mulligan, Trainbox, Malcolm Aldridge, Bright Awakening. Guys, make sure to follow us on social media. Make sure to check out TTV Research on X as well. I did delete our Palantir graphic because I noticed there were a couple typos there. So more Awake Adara will be editing that and posting that tomorrow. So check us out. Lots of stuff on watch here. And shout out to Neil and Bears vs. Bulls back in the chat. Love this community. So grateful for this community. Grateful to be learning here every single day. And we'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun one tomorrow. By the way, calla lilies, that's my wife's favorite flower.
Right, I grew up like hearing about those, yeah.
Yeah, that's her flower. That's awesome. It's just little things like that that can make your day at the end of the day. But you know what? Earnings are back. EA stunk, but it's going to be tradable tomorrow for sure. Whether it's that, whether it's ARM, whether it's Tesla, whether it's NVIDIA, we'll be back for you Thursday, tomorrow morning. Get your rest because it should be another banger day in the markets. We'll be here at 8:30 for you guys. We're Trader TV Live. See you tomorrow.
Yeah.